I've always felt different from others. When I lay tired in my bed, my mom came to me and said, "If you want to succeed, Leon, you need to work twice as hard." So I learned fast what I needed to do. Creating sparks in the lab lit up sparks in my brain. My life been a glimpse before the jump. This is who I am, always craving for the dunk. My sis says, "Leon, you're my hero." But when I look inside the mirror, I see just an ordinary man. But you know what? I can do the impossible.
My head, you're just a ghost, you're never there. You're just a memory on my lips. 'Cause you're just a ghost inside my head. You're just a You're just a ghost inside my head. You're just a ghost, you're never there. 'Cause you're just a ghost inside my head. You're just a ghost, you're never there. You're just a memory on my lips. You're just a ghost inside my head. Oh, you're just a ghost inside my head.
Fire makes the city look so bright. Close your eyes and just stay tight. We have to go. Stay with me while we leave. Don't worry, just believe me. This journey will relieve us. Stay with me while we leave. Stay with me while we leave. Don't worry, just believe me. This journey will relieve us. Stay with me while we leave. Stay with me. Stay with me while we leave. Don't worry, just believe me. This journey will relieve us. Stay with me while we leave. Stay with me while we leave. Don't worry, just believe me. This journey will relieve us. Stay with me while we leave. Stay with me.
Survivors, welcome to the Free Fire Pro Series for North America. Participants will get the chance to showcase their skills and compete for their share of the $50,000 prize pool. This inaugural season will take place across 3 months in 4 unique phases: the Open Qualifier, the Group Stage, the Last Chance Qualifier, and the Finals. Teams will accumulate points throughout each of these stages, resetting for everyone at the start of each new phase. We will kick things off in the Open Qualifier. Teams from across the entire North American region will be split into lobbies of 12 teams, where survivors will battle it out for 6 games to earn their place in the next round. Teams will be awarded points for their in-game performance, including points for their final placement in the lobby, as well as their kills throughout the games. At the end of these games, the top teams from each lobby will move on to the round of 96. This round will feature new lobbies and 6 more games for each team. The teams that finish in the top 6 for their lobby will move on to a final qualifier round of 48, after which only 24 teams will be left standing to move on to the group stage. The group stage will be comprised of a 3-week season, with 2 game days each weekend. The teams promoted from the Open Qualifier will be placed into 4 groups of 6 teams each. Throughout the season, these groups will be paired on game days in a round-robin format, so that each group will face off against every other group in a 12-team lobby at least once. At the conclusion of the group stage, the top 8 teams from this stage will qualify directly to the finals. The bottom 4 teams in the overall standings will be dropped from the tournament, and the remaining teams will move on to the Last Chance Qualifier. The Last Chance Qualifier will see the teams placed 9th through 20th from the group stage compete in their final opportunity to qualify for the finals. Their bouts will take place over the course of 2 game days, with 6 games per day, all in a final bid to earn their shot at the championship. After this intense LCQ stage, only the teams in the top 4 will be able to move on to the finals. To cap things off, our grand finals will take place over the span of 3 days, with the top 12 teams from the tournament playing 6 games every day for a grand total of 18. Here, teams must go all out to earn points and stake their claim as the inaugural Free Fire Pro Series champions. At the end of the 3 game days, the 12th finalist will receive their share of the $50,000 prize pool, and a North American champion will be crowned. All right, Survivor, the battlefield awaits for those who think they have what it takes to bring home the championship. Looking to prove your skills and be the best in North America? Whether you'll be participating or merely spectating the show for fun, we'll see you there. Good luck and have fun. We'll be there with plenty of booyahs.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Free Fire Pro Series for North America. My name is Melocrit, and I'm joined today by Twiggy. And Twiggy, we have got an awesome set of games set up for us to watch today.
Yep, absolutely. We are in the second round of the Free Fire Pro Series, the round of 96. Now we're down to 8 lobbies. We're getting there. 24 teams to get into the group stage. We're about halfway through this part. We've got 3 rounds to get through. We just went through the 192, both rounds of that last week. So now we're on the home stretch to the group stage, and it should be some really exciting games. Obviously, 24 teams will make it to the group stage. The top 8 teams from there are going to be heading straight to the grand final, and then the top 4 from the Last Chance Qualifier will be making it in as well for 12 teams in our grand final.
And it's already been an absolute blast. Last weekend, we had 2 days of gameplay, 192 teams to kick it off. And we're already down to 96. And after today, we'll be moving on to 48. And after this weekend, we'll know who will be our top teams moving on to the group stage, which will be an absolute brawl to make sure those teams are earning their spots into the grand final. And I'm really excited because we get to see those returning teams that performed in the first weekend. Of course, we got to cast just last weekend, and there were a lot of teams with some really impressive performances.
Yeah, definitely. Some names that really stood out. 50 Zenzo, obviously, they're going to be in the first lobby that we're spectating, actually, but there were so many that went through that I remember from here. We've got Universo in here, but here we go. His lobby too. We've got 50 Zenzo in there. There was Fuego, a big name in that one as well. Tumen right at the bottom there. We saw them as well in the last stream. Everyone else in here is actually going to be a bit of a surprise. We haven't really seen a lot of these teams just yet, so it should be exciting to see how they get through this one, but I'm really looking forward to this first game.
Yeah, we actually got not so we didn't get to see a lot of these teams in that first weekend. Obviously, we couldn't spectate every lobby since there were a whole big pile of them. But as you said, Fuego, a team that really showed up and had a huge performance to kick things off. 50 Zenzo, another team that was able to pick up tons of kills in the first weekend of the qualifiers. And yeah, exactly right. We are going to get to see a lot of new faces still. We've been seeing it throughout the tournament, but it is still true here. There are still a lot of lobbies to get through. I think we have 8 today, lobbies of 12 teams. So a lot of new faces that are going to start to develop their storylines and start to develop their play even better and better as we progress. So I can't wait to see some of these other squads like Northside and Tumen, who we only got brief glimpses of, to see how they're going to stand up to some of these teams that have already, had their big pop-off weekends.
Absolutely. And I mean, you might think, wait a second, there are 8 lobbies, there are 6 games going on, we're not going to see every team. And yeah, that's the unfortunate circumstance that we're in right now. Obviously, with so many teams signing up, even in the second stage, it's going to be difficult to get to everybody, but we are going to try and cover as much as we can. The lobby is ready, and we're going to be moving into game just about now. So we'll see you through there. Here we go. Everyone's dropping in.
And today we get Kalahari to kick things off, as we've talked about before. One of the bigger maps that we get to watch, and we'll see if people choose to drop contested. Obviously, a big question mark whenever we go fresh into these lobbies. We have a big stack of new teams, a lot of which haven't even interacted before during the tournament. So, yeah, we get to see how things kick off, and it looks like things are kicking off a little bit slower, which I love to see, with the exception of Lord Kill Esports and this other unfortunate squad that they've already managed to take one member off of. Now a 4v3 situation, Lord Kill kicking it off in a big way.
Yeah, always disappointing when you lose that player quickly, but you can get yourself back up by the bootstraps. Try and get that back up. I mean, we've seen teams with one player coming back into the game and trying to take down big squads now, but we're seeing more fighting going on. There's one player of this team going down. We'll learn the names of the teams very quickly as we get through this, but right now, on top of the bones here, 2 players just wreaking havoc down upon these guys.
I think it's going to be Empire FF raining down fire from the top of the spine. This massive creature, and starting things off in a massive way already with a kill. Aimbot was quite low on health, but manages to pick that right back up. And this might continue to fight out. Obviously, they know they have the one-man advantage, and not actually looking to clean time turners, already committed on both sides, but the return fire is big there. And that is a big knock to move on out of that situation. That is going to be the finish. And now Empire FF kicking it off as the kill leaders with 2 kills.
Yeah, a brilliant little play, just getting the drop on Big Drip players there, and now 2 players from there are already down. We can see over the other side of the map, some more kills are going down. 5 Yose there is actually just picking up kills all over the place, but that's how the first few minutes of this game is going to be. Chaos everywhere, and we're just waiting for things to slow down. Big Drip is actually moving in towards another team over here, 904 Official, who are just looting up at the moment, but Big Drip, they need to be very careful. They do not want to be engaging with another full squad this early on.
You hate to see it, kicking things off as a duo, not the best scenario, but we've seen crazier. We've seen wins and pretty crazy getaways with solos and duos. So again, it's never over. We will definitely be seeing more of Big Drip trying to sneak their way into the later rings. And I'm actually a bit surprised because it looked well distributed on the map, but it looks like some teams just chose violence anyway. And a lot of teams choosing to fight here. Jose for this squad. I think this might be 50 Zenzo, our previous menaces in the lobby we got to spectate on Sunday. And here they are once again. They continue to rain down fire on this other team. Brandy 444 doing their best to defend and hold it down. And as we know, those early glue walls are a pretty huge commitment. It is a really important resource that you don't want to get rid of early, but getting rid of players is even more effective than that. So there we already see Jose with a triple kill to start things off about 3 minutes in the match.
Yep, and that's Northside, our first squad fully eliminated, and that was pretty damn quick. Jose just, well, had a brilliant position on them. Obviously, high ground advantage is a real thing, and when you don't have much resource to start off with, committing those glue walls, you only have so many that you can put down, and Northside were just, well, it was under siege, and there just wasn't so long that they could hold out.
Indeed, indeed. Here we see Lord Kill Esports now actually looking across to 50 Zenzo. And these are two squads that have already picked up, a little bit of KP, a couple of kill points here and there. Lord Kill just with one off of the backside of that drop fight. So they're hanging out for right now. They don't have too much reason to go and get aggressive. So that is totally fine for them. And I think once we've settled a bit now here, we still have 11 squads up out of the 12 that we started off with, which is a great number to watch. And things will slow down a little bit as teams approach the ring.
Yeah. And here we go. Danger zone. Well, they will move outside of there just in time. I was going to say they were going to get caught by that one, but actually moving in towards another squad here. This team, I'm not quite sure who it is. I'm trying to figure it out, but it's very difficult, as we know. But they're moving in over towards another team here. I think that's XD999. They're heading up towards the sub, and there's going to be, I think, an engagement going on. They will be hearing each other very soon as... There we go, dropping down on top of one player, just sniping from there. Taking him down with the healing gun, and that's going to be the first elimination there for this team. And, well, XC999 dropped on top of, and now their players are all over the place. Look at this, nobody's in the same location. They can't help each other out. If they get knocked, that's no res for them. It's a difficult situation to be in now.
Empire squad continues to farm the players on Kalahari, and I mean, that's, you just hate to see it. You're so focused looking out across the map, but man, using your sound is so important there. They might have gotten away with it should they have known that Empire was walking up, but now the entire squad is going to flood one of the last members of this team. XD999 already losing another member, and I believe a solo is left as Empire FF picks up the kill leader title with 4 kills to kick things off.
Yeah, 50 Zenzo are going back in for it. Another engagement here, this time on Lord Kill Esport, if I'm thinking correctly here. They're just scouting out the area at the moment. You can see a couple below these guys. They know they're on top of that roof there. Jose over with the rifle just trying to hold down that position, and a few shots will be fired in towards Jeff, who is taken down just before the glue wall can go up. That's a brilliant first pick from Jose there. Now the rest of the team, they can close in on this location and try start getting up on top of the roof.
They do manage to pick their teammate up and get him healed up, but I don't know if they'll have enough time to fully recover as 50 Zenzo starts to walk into this building, and a great peek there from the stairs, but does get knocked down and traded out. So 3v3 still here, but they're going to finish off the member of 50 Zenzo, and they don't quite do it. They knock him again, and this is an absolutely brutal fight for both sides, but Lord Kill now picking up quite a few kills, and there it is, just like that. 50 Zenzo now having to run on out of that building. The fight falling apart for them completely as Lord Kill claims 2 kill points and might be looking for more.
Yeah, incredibly unfortunate so far. Super Inc trying to run away, but he's being tailed by 2 players. Lord Kill will finish him off. That's another one for them, and now only 1 player left on that team. That's really unfortunate. It was a well-planned execution there. Jose holding down the angle with the rifle and letting his team kind of push in on them, but wasn't to be. Now only 1 player left on 50 Zenzo, Ledesma, who is well away from that location at that point.
And that looked really crazy. I felt like 50 Zenzo had a great peek on that ramp, but what a timely time turner to put it down and just completely turn that fight around in an instant. And that's all it takes. All of these players are so skilled. You have to be careful, and you have to know when your shots have to hit. And in that case, they just didn't quite make it there. So yeah, that's actually a really big squad that's now down to a solo. They were at one point the kill, or pretty close to the kill leaders, and now they have 1 member left. So at least they have a couple of kill points to work with moving into what's going to be basically just the rat game for their last member. And that's not how you want to kick things off. 50 Zenzo, probably one of those squads we were looking at the most to really pop off once again. So I don't know, maybe the nerves are getting to them now that we're down to the round of 96. A lot of these teams have worked really hard to earn this spot, and maybe it's starting to show that the competition is a lot closer than we might have believed initially.
Exactly. 4 teams here very close to each other. You can see 904 official moving in towards Big Drip in this location right here, just off to the side. Oh, and I think one member of Big Drip has located these guys, just waiting for them to turn around the corner. Oh, but they now know, both of them know that they've seen each other. Shots fired down, not quite going to find anything around the edge of the hill. Not going to be visible for 904 official, but it does mean that Big Drip are well aware of their location, can get well out of there. 2 players versus 3, not favorable for them, so they will move out.
And it's so difficult because as Big Drip, you have a very nice height to play with right at the edge of the zone. But unfortunately, as a duo, unless you can get a really, really early down and finish on that team that you know might either have 3 or 4 members, it's really hard to commit to anything. So 904 here, fortunately, running into the best team they probably could have outside of the ring, start to make their way in. Meanwhile, we see over here Shinigamis, I believe, making their way into the ring as well. So now closing on round number 2, we still have 10 squads left, but look at the player count. We started with 48 players, and we're down to 10 squads and 35. So there has been a lot of early bloodshed and a lot of incomplete teams moving into this next ring.
Yeah, absolutely. But it does show this time how different the competition is in this next stage. We've weeded out half of the players, a whole 96 teams in the first round. And that means that the skill level, the skill ceiling of all of this has gone up that little bit more. And we've only lost 2 teams, but yet we're on 35 players. That's a great disengage from a lot of teams. They're being able to get away from fights and being smart about that.
Now we see a couple of teams crowding around what I believe to be command post. And they might see each other, or they might at least be aware of each other's presence. So taking down this drone while they can. And that is Fuego, another big breakout team that we are honestly really expecting to perform in general. They were a team that was slated to be, very well organized, very prepared to perform in this tournament. And they've shown it so far. And here they are still with 4 members strong moving into the next ring. I'm curious to know how their first fight's going to go, as the circle is starting to get very, very tight and there is not a whole lot of free real estate for any of the teams.
Yeah, the danger zone as well, right on top of Big Trip, and Shinigami's there as well, so they're going to have to move away from those locations. Not a lot of cover to stay away from that in a lot of this place, so at the very least. Well, look, the zone is right next to them, so all teams moving in towards there, and you can actually see a fight going out between Shinigamis and Campo 24 there, but they're going to have other things to think about. You can see Tumen closing in on that location. You can also see Lord Kill closing in on that, and now, Campo 22 is being surrounded by teams.
Campo 22 really catching the bad end of that rotation. They're still alive, though, and they probably are going to make their way in. But here we see Lord Kill walking in as well, flooding this building. They knew that Tumen was distracted, and this is their opportunity to walk in. Just like that, the fight kicks off. We see the glue wall going down, and this is already a very dangerous situation. Lord Kill, though, full committing and losing a member right off the bat. They have to recover quickly if they expect to win this fight. The glue wall is going down for Jeff. Moving on out of there, all 4 members still up, and I think they picked up a couple of kills off the back end, and now Tumen, the latest victims of Lord Kill Esports, and they're going to hunt for more as a quadra kill for RE12 comes through.
Yeah, getting in the car. Let's get away from that location as quick as possible. Get towards the ring, but the ring is just as dangerous. You can see so many from Shinigamis have already been taken down here by the Campo 22 players who are rotating in towards the ring. They're going to take the high ground and try and take down the last stragglers of this team here. Trying to get back up the hill, get behind these players, but it's not going to happen so quickly. Players on top of the hill, trying to shoot down on top of them. Not quite going to make it, but they're going to knock down these players one by one. And there's Shinigamis eliminated by Campo 22. And from what looked like a dire location, they have recovered remarkably well.
And all of these rotations have been extremely punishing for the later teams. And this is where the skill gap and this real tier of play we start to see build as these teams get better and better. Here we see once again Empire, FF, doing the best that they can right on the edge of zone, do pick up a couple of kills and still have 4 members strong. And that is so important moving into these later rings, because with KP and with decent positioning with all of your members, you can do a lot of work, much like Lord Kill Esports, who now rack up 8 kills moving into this 4th zone. And they already have an okay spot to work with, though they are getting looked down on from the height.
Yeah, Fuego has spotted their location, and they're going to be shooting down on top of them there, as well as Campo 22 have taken the top of that hill. Now you can see some rotations coming out from what I believe to be Empire FF here, moving all the way around, and they're actually going to try and take Fuego by surprise in this house here. They move in, and the Time Turners are put down, but that's not enough to stop Axel from getting killed. Maybe it is. Axel is actually staying alive, but the rest of the teams, they have joined up that fight, tried to get in. Aimbot is going to be knocked down as well as Jokers now, and, well, it's looking like it might have been a mistake from Empire FF here as, well, Fuego, they've turned it on its head, and they're actually going to try and get away. The grenade is going to blow up in Axe's face. He gets away just in time, but I mean, the fight's already almost over. Fuego are cleaning up the Empire FF players. Just hold up in the corner here. Empire can't get in. There's only 2 players left on the side trying to find the shoulder of Calvin, but they just can't quite get in there. Kills are going out all across the map, but down go the glue walls, and Fuego open fire on the last 2 players of Empire FF. Empire FF eliminated. Fuego now on 5 kills, excuse me.
What a defense from Fuego there. It looked like they got snuck up on so aggressively, but a very timely time turner, and they managed to turn it around with glue walls left and right and just better gunplay overall. And that is what we've been seeing time and time again. These teams like Fuego that we know are here to play and are here to win these lobbies are playing out of their minds, Twiggy. But Campo 22 still with a really fantastic position, and they're putting down a lot of pressure on Fuego, who did have a building but now has to move away, and it looks like they're being punished for that previous fight. Now late to the rotation, and another squad right behind them. That's going to be Insano, the last member of Northblood, sneaking up behind them and probably causing a lot of trouble for them as Campo 22 continue to farm the lobby.
Yeah, that is actually Lordkill, who is mostly down at this point. Campo 22 just with this high ground spraying down bullets on top of them. Only 1 player left standing at this point, trying to get a res onto his teammate. He might just about get it if they don't finish it off. The Time Turner's put down, so he's going to be able to get that res, but it's not quite quick enough. And the grenade will finish off 1 player, the rifle the second. Campo 22, they have finished off another team, and they will just clean up Fuego as well as they move down the hill, just trying to finish everything off. But our little third player has got in the way. Insano is taken down eventually. Now it's just Fuego and Campo 22.
And Campo 22 making excellent use of their positioning. They had all of the tools and all of the positioning they could have possibly wanted there, and now they will most likely finish this off. But we've seen Fuego do crazier, though it might not be the case here, as a triple kill gets picked up, and the booyah goes on over to Campo 22, the first game of the day, and what a performance to start things off.
Yeah, Campo 22 really put on a master show there. In a lobby full of brilliant teams like Fuego, like Lordkill. I mean, Shinigami's, they had their time in the sun. Big Drip tried their best to get in there. 904 Official had a lovely little mid-game push. But in the end, Campo 22 just had brilliant rotations. They made sure to get control of that high ground, drop down on top of Shinigami's, and suddenly they had control of a massive part of what was to be the last ring, and just made it impossible for Fuego to try and move on that location.
And the way they pressured every single squad that did not have a spot there in zone was absolutely ridiculous. And we saw teams that were playing really well all throughout just get absolutely decimated by the positioning of Campo 22 alone. I think at that point, it was all about trying to get as close as possible. But I mean, with a team like Campo who was able to play that position and able to hold all of their resources, they held onto grenades to make sure they could clean it up at the end. I mean, it was their game to lose, and they performed as expected there. What a game, number one. I'm honestly kind of excited to see how some of these other squads that, again, we haven't talked about them a lot. Campo 22, not exactly the team that was at the top of our radar for this lobby, but there you go. One game can change it all, and I'm sure that everyone at home watching is going to be watching out for that Campo 22 squad now.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we saw Fuego last time, and they put on a massive show. They made sure to get well into the top 3 of their lobby, so we weren't expecting anything less in this stage, but I mean, it's still impressive to be able to get that high up, even, well, now that we have such a higher quality of teams coming through into the next stage. Obviously, getting rid of the latter half of those teams is going to bump up that skill level significantly, and you're going to have so much more competition to get into those podium places. But Fuego put on a great show. In the end, though, Campo 22 just had brilliant positional awareness, being able to just rain down fire on top of every team that tried to contest their location.
And on top of the first place finish, obviously granted them a little bit by the way that they played the ring. The amount of kills that they got at the end are so significant because sometimes it can be really difficult to pick up those kills if you're in the right place at the wrong time, and you might win out the game or get very late in the game, but if you didn't pick enough kills up along the way, you can actually get outscored by some of those teams that are aggressive and might have died, in third or fourth place even, but might still outscore. I don't think this is going to be the case here, Twiggy, as Campo, I believe, finished with close to 9 kills, I want to say. It was a pretty big number. I'm excited to see the score lines because they were able to completely farm the last 4 squads left alive.
Yeah, we're probably expecting 2 teams in that 20-point range. Fuego, they'll have got, obviously, their 9 points for coming in second, and I think they did have well in excess of 8 or 9 kills in that whole game. So we are expecting to see somewhere around 18, 19, 20 for Fuego, and then we're probably expecting to see somewhere in the range of 22 there for Campo 22, funnily enough. And it's going to be exciting to see that one. I don't think it's going to be quite as, monopolistic as we saw in the last one, where you'd had 2-3 teams at the top, maybe even less, and then just everybody else with the single digits points. I think we're going to see a really nice balance of points in this one. There's going to be a lot of contest for that 6th spot position.
And I can't wait to check out who the middle of the pack teams are, because as you just stated, there were a couple of teams there that were able to pick up kills along the way and still made it late-ish into the game, which can be enough to keep you competitive. We do have 6 games today. So even if you didn't do the absolute best in the first game, there's a lot of opportunities to really pick it up and start picking up those points. But I think you said it best. There's a lot of teams that are going to be in the running. It's not going to be as monopolistic. It's not going to be, 1 or 2 teams that are absolutely slaying the lobby with, a 20-point deficit to kick things off. They are going to put up big points, but even 50 Zenzo, who we saw go out early in a surprising fashion after a really bad push onto that squad, they were still able to pick up 3 or 4 kills, I believe, before they went out, which is really significant in the overall leaderboard placements.
Yeah, I think we're going to have the leaderboard available for us very soon here. But even last week, we saw so many teams contesting for that 6th spot, right? Even in the, in the last 2 games, generally, you're going to start employing strategies to make sure you're going to hold on to your position or try and take away that position from 6th, 5th, that kind of area. And we saw so many teams who in the last game just got enough kills or just held on to their position long enough that they were able to overtake those last teams. And we're going to see that so much more today. So much excitement to come up, but we're just waiting on this leaderboard for this game right now so we can check who is where.
And I think we'll get to see it really soon. We have to score. I think we get to check out the scores a little bit before. But yeah, shouting out some other teams that were still kind of playing really well. They almost slipped my mind, but Lord Kill Esport, actually, another squad, actually the ones that were able to fend off and actually almost finish off completely the 50 Zenzo squad. Really, really significant performance because they were also picking up kills along the way. They played the edge of the ring almost the entire way in and managed to just pick up straggler after straggler. Every single duo squad that was left in shambles off of the drop ended up getting picked up by Lord Kill, I think, in a lot of ways. So that is another style of play that can be extremely rewarding. With this point format, it's not all about getting the booyah, though it does feel great. It really is about also making sure if you have a stack of 4 and you have the resources and you know that other squads have lost members, it can be an easy 4v2 or 4v1 or even 4v3 situation to make sure that you're picking up the kills, even if you know you might not get the best spot in later rings.
Yeah, and here we go, looking into the map 1 results. There it is, Campo 22, not with 22, not quite, but with 23 points. They did try their best to get that 22-point scoreline, but almost. Even better, 23 points, brilliant. Fuego actually trailing by 9 points, a little larger of a gap than I was expecting at that point, obviously. This is obviously the mix of all of this, and we can actually see Lord Kill, with their 8 kills, managed to get more points than Fuego, 15 there, even though they finished 4th. Northblood in the 3rd. That was that one guy right at the end that just managed to knock one of the Campo 22 players, and they got 3 kills and ended up 3rd. That's a wealth of points there.
Yeah, and the distribution, like we said, is not that crazy. Shinigami is actually suffering probably the worst, I think, out of a lot of the squads in terms of who we actually got to see a little bit later in the game. They didn't really pick up any kills, but were able to slip into a high enough position to steal a point. But yeah, 23 points to kick things off. Not anything to scoff at, but the middle of the pack is really close. I mean, here already we're seeing 9 points for Big Drip, 11 points for Northblood, and then 13 and 14 for Fuego, respectively, with Lord Kill coming up with 15 off of an 8 kill performance. This is what we're talking about, right? This is what's going to keep things close because we've seen a lot of these teams, especially teams like Fuego, who we got to watch straight up just win lobbies at one point. They can have those performances. They definitely have it in them. And it's all about, how your early game goes and whether you can execute your game plan correctly.
Yeah, luckily for Big Trip, nobody quite right on their tails. A 5 point gap between 6th and 7th, and nobody 7th or below did get 5 points in the last game. So luckily for them, they won't be sweating too hard. If they've still got 5 games to go, you can still rack up those points very quickly. You really never know game to game what's going to happen. We can see a team come first and then come 10th. I mean, the fact that we saw 50 Zenzo go out so quickly in that one is just, well, they did so well last week, and somehow, some way, they've ended up getting no points for positional placements, 3-4 kills, but well, that's how it is. Game to game, you're going to have to perform well consistently, and that is the name of the game in the Open Qualifiers.
Oh, absolutely. And I expect that 50 Zenzo will come back with a vengeance. But next up, we will get to check out Lobby 8. And hopefully, we'll get to check out their scores as well. And here we go. Off of game number 1 for Lobby 8, it'll be CK Esports in first place with 21. Trinitarios in second place with 17, and SG Team with 13. Again, another similar sort of storyline that we've got going on here. 6th place to 2nd is really only a 9-point deficit, which isn't the biggest deal when it comes to a 6-game format. Riot Squad, BL, all really in contention here. And even the worst teams, which to my surprise, at least, we see Osaka near the bottom, a team that actually performed pretty well to kick things off. Same thing with Gigantes, excuse me. They also did really well. So a bit of an upset here again, like we saw with 50 Zenzo. That is the level of competition that we're dealing with now. We've weeded out half the squads, and now we're starting to see the top of the top start to fight it out, and it is no longer easy pickings for these good players.
Yeah, obviously, once again, it is a very similar storyline with this 6th place holding on by just a few points. We can see Tankers and Tijuana are going to be able to get right back up into that gameplay. Even Riot Squad are going to be looking backwards at their tails at these teams who are going to be chasing them all the way up for the next few games. But it's not until about game 4 that we're really going to start seeing all of these really exciting kind of strategies that teams are going to employ to try and keep their positions in check. Sorry. Luckily for these top teams, it's not going to be as difficult to keep at the top now.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is what I love to see, right? Now that esports has finally come to North American Free Fire, this is the level of competition that I love to see, because say what you will about the round of 192 blowouts that we did experience. Now the stakes are so much higher, and we know that all of the teams are really fighting for their lives to find their way into the next round of the qualifying stage. So we will roll into the next game here. Another game on Kalahari. We'll get to watch Kalahari once again before moving on to Purgatory. And I cannot wait to see how this squad sort of performs as we move into map 2 of the round of 96.
Yeah, teams once again dropping all over the place. We can see one towards Sub, one towards Stone Ridge. It's looking like a nice even distribution this time. We saw a lot of teams dropping in similar locations last game. Oh, but maybe we'll actually see a few going for Oldhampton. Looks like 2 squads are going to be oh, no, never mind. Dios Macro decides not to go over there, but that's meaning that we're going to see 2 squads on top of Shrines. Actually, Obito might be in for a difficult situation here, as the rest of his team has dropped over towards the right side of the map. A full squad is going to be dropping on his head.
Yep, and that's just how it goes sometimes. I'm excited to see how that gunfight plays out. But we still see, again, Kalahari, a pretty big map, though some of the locations do have better loot than others. So you're going to see some drop spots that just don't see a lot of action, and plenty of teams that are going to opt to just take the fights early and try and kick things off with good loot and some kill points to start it off. And here we see BL that squad not really starting things off as they expected. They're probably going to get this member up though, and they do have snipers to work with up on the top side of this ridge. So nothing too much to speak of quite yet, but WXX Esports elsewhere on the map do actually pick up a couple of kill points, picking up kill leader, and yeah, I'm sure they're feeling pretty good about that start.
Yeah, one player down so far, and that's going to be unfortunate for the team that loses that player. I think, yeah, that was the squad that dropped directly on top of our Team 10's head there. That's a difficult situation, but I mean, that's the risk you run when you drop by yourself to try and get more loot.
And yep, that's the name of the game, right? It's what we love to call a 50-50 because these players are so well stacked against each other in terms of skill that it really just comes down to what gun did you drop on? Did you drop on a gun? Did your opponent pick up the gun before you did? It really is a game of chance at one point, and it's a gamble that just didn't work out for that squad. So yeah, unfortunate for them, but here we will get to watch GE. I believe that's going to be Gigantes, who did have a pretty solid performance last weekend, and I expect them to start to pick things up, even though they might have had an underwhelming start to the day. It's never too late to rack up those points, Twiggy.
Yeah, 3 members is still easily enough to get a lot done. We've seen that time and time again, 3 members being able to just wipe squads. And I mean, we've seen 1 player able to wipe a squad of 4, so definitely doable when you have 3 left. But we can see so many teams near each other here, a lot of them avoiding engagement. Definitely a smart strat to employ, being able to stay away from teams until you know you're prepared to start taking fights.
And looting up is such a crucial aspect of this game because we know that later in the game and even in the mid-game team fights, glue walls are so pivotal to make sure you're winning those fights and to make sure that if the fight starts off wrong and that you lose, a member or a couple of members, those glue walls can be crucial for picking up those teammates or just getting away. So having good loot is very, very important, and having the right guns and the right equipment to make sure that you can take those fights safely and effectively really is what's going to separate a lot of these team fights and a lot of these players who, as we said time and time again, are so closely matched at this point in the round of 96. You cannot mess around and expect that walking into a building you can take over and just run over whatever team is sitting in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Osaka actually, luckily for them, dropping on top of a loot zone. They did finish with 0 points, getting 0 kills and in the bottom 2 in placements last game. So hopefully they'll be able to pick up their tails in this game. They do only need to get 8 points to be able to get back up into that top 6, but still, finishing the first game with 0 points definitely is going to set you back a long way in terms of just the height of the hill that you have to climb.
Yep, and the hill can get taller and taller if you don't start picking up the slack. Here we see Fox Gaming rotating their way into the ring, and this is what I love to see. This is probably my favorite situation in Battle Royales. 1 member down total across the map. We have 12 teams and 48 players still left alive. So this first ring is going to close here soon, and we might start to see some fighting, but we know how deadly that 3rd and 4th ring can be. And I think that is when the most exciting fights start to happen because all of these teams are looted up and are ready to fight. So expect a lot of glue walls and a lot of grenades.
Yeah. Oh, and we're seeing engagement all over the place here. As 2 teams, they are starting to push in on the same location. Not sure if I'm lagging or if that is the stream. Oh,
We're back.
We're back. And, pushing in on the location. There are shots being fired everywhere. We can see teams with, unfortunate positions at this point because they're pushing in all the way. Oh, 2 players knocked already. Not able to get the first member back up, but they're just raining down fire on top of each other at this point, well between each other, and just trying to, oh no, actually 2 players down from BL. It means Flacco's going to have to start running away, but he's getting fired down on. There's no cover to hide behind. He's just going to have to keep running away, hoping nobody follows him up, but they're watching for this. They will knock down his last teammate at this point. He is going to get round the hill. Luckily, Tijuana won't be able to push him that far forward, but still losing 3 team members at that point.
Tijuana absolutely loving that situation, putting down a great time turner and glue walls to make sure that they finish off that entire squad. And with 3 kills to start it off, now they're very comfortable moving through this maze, picking up whatever loot they can find here and make their way into zone, knowing they've cleared out pretty much an entire team, and also know that they're pretty safe to just play positionally now. 3 kills is obviously really great place to be, and you know that if you have a good position and you have good loot, you can pick up more kill points later and possibly steal the win. But again, we did see one member get away, so it is not over for that squad. We still have 12 teams on the map, as here we get to watch winners, seeing if they live up to their name in this lobby, while R15 and CK actually about to run into each other in a big way. Or excuse me, Abel and the rest of that squad, but Abel going down immediately, and that is so brutal, getting peeked from outside the window, and that is not how you want to start things off. CK already picking one up, but Eddie going down on their side as well, and now SG runs into this team. SG team already knocking down 3 members and 1 member left. It's going to be black for CK. Do pick up Homie, but it might already be a lost cause. There are glue walls and time turners left and right as they try and defend this. There are still 2 members up, though, and it looks like they're going to be able to heal. SG not quite finishing this off in the cleanest fashion possible. And now we might actually see a third-party situation, as SG losing members as well. CK now choosing to leave the situation entirely. And what a mess for TNT 23 there. They pick up kills, but they get punished in the process.
Smart from the CK player, I feel like, to use that distraction that was afforded to them by the third party to get away there. And now SG team, are in trouble. Just 1 player left in here, and just trying to stay away from those invaders of their property. Now, WXX is actually being fired down on top of Neymar, trying to rotate round on top of these 2 teams. Be a 4th party in the fight, but, well, I mean, I think SG team are ready for this one at the very least.
It was WXX who might have actually picked up some of the profit of what was a really messy fight. But SG does have, I believe, 3 members up still. So WXX not really looking to get too over involved in this scenario. They have a couple buildings to hold, and they have a bit of the ring positioning that they need to make sure they can defend the spot. And here we see there's actually 6 squads outside of the ring, and 2, I believe 1 solo and 2 duos. Fox Gaming, one of the teams that is picking up these edge squads and just picking up kill points as they walk into ring. They haven't picked any up quite yet, but with this height and with this loot, they might be able to do a lot here. And we already see, I think, 1 member of one of the straggler teams walking on up. So it looks like Fox might not overcommit to this, and they're just going to walk themselves into ring.
Yep. Good strategy, I feel like, to just make sure you're prioritizing your position over anything else. CK Esports, in the meantime, are the first team to be eliminated at this point, which is massive. As the points leaders so far, they're going to be ending that game with 0 positional points, just a few kill points to speak of. That's going to put them right back down into the pack for the next game. And it's going to be great for those bottom 6 teams trying to get back up into the running.
And actually the first team to be eliminated, Twiggy. We're down to 11 squads, which means that CK actually the first ones to go on out. Here we see winners walking into the last member of SG, but they do pick them off. I think there's another member left alive behind this glue wall, and really just delaying the inevitable, as winners probably going to pick up this kill point. And there are the toes of this lone member of SG, and they will not be long for this world. If these glue walls ever go down, my goodness, they had at least 11 glue walls, the entire fortress worth there, and they just can't finish off the last member of SG. But there it is, the finish. So they might have taken a little bit too long. They do pick up their 3rd member, but yikes, taking a little bit too long there. That was a ridiculous amount of glue walls.
And you know what the funny thing is about that? Is that SG just got themselves into... Oh, not SG, sorry, but they got themselves into the positional points because another team was taken down. Oh my god, never mind. There's a fight going on. Winners being fired down upon here by, I think, Gigantes here. Just being fired down upon. And oh my god, wow, 1 player left already. That's such an unfortunate position to be in, just using glue walls to keep yourselves alive. Maybe a tree for cover. if you have to get there. But oh no, right on the edge of the ring as well, and he's just going to be stopped by these 2 players on top of the hill. 3 players.
And John from SG actually doing so much work there. Just like you said, Twiggy, they managed to delay enough to move themselves into top 9, which actually might have been quite a bit lower placement. They could have been as low as 11th, but actually getting super punished as well by taking so long to move out of that building. They allowed themselves to get pinched up from a lot of these squads that moved on earlier and had the height. So that is honestly a mess of a situation for winners, and now they're finding themselves in absolute shambles as they move into this next ring. Meanwhile, SGT actually picking up a fight for themselves. I think we might have 2 SGs. Getting a little bit confused here. But yep, another fight breaking out here. Luis, who we've seen an absolute menace, as well as Mige. All of them absolute slayers. Dakaro already picking up a member of Fox, and Fox, another squad that we saw a full 4 of, now getting taken down, and all 4 members of SG team now going to move their way in while Fox tries to recover from that fight.
Yeah, very difficult at this point now that zone is moving, but luckily it's slow. They're on the close side of it. They will be able to move around, but catching them on the rotation here is going to be SG team trying to take down the remaining Fox Gaming players. The glue walls go up to try and afford themselves a little more room, try and get into the next available zone, but that fortress is not going to be available. They will return fire in the end because there's no other option at this point. In the meantime, Osaka, they're getting themselves on the kill board, trying to get as many as they can here, but SG team, they're just going to stop Fox Gaming from getting through into safety. That's 2 players knocked already. They're going to be inside the ring. They're going to be taken down, and only 1 player left on Fox Gaming has run into another team. A 3rd party has joined.
What an absolute disaster there, and the Fox Hunt was on with SG at the back end of it with the Bloodhounds. They managed to pick up so many kill points there, putting them in 5 points. That is huge for them. But now the cross shots coming out of the duo of WXX, punishing them for that late rotation. And this is what we've talked about before, right? These teams love to play edge and pick up these kills, but if another squad is set up a little bit better than they are, they can get really punished for it. The WXX looks like they're not going to be doing the punishing, as Neymar, the last man standing for WXX after what looked like a great punish game from them, and now their members also stuck outside of zone, and SG is bloodthirsty here, gonna pick up this last kill most likely, but Dakaro picked up on the backside to the zone, and this zone is starting to hurt, Twiggy, and these members might actually be hurting a lot from the zone that might be taking them down in the end.
Yeah, running into another team there is the last member of WXX, but SG, they'll run into them as well. Oh, and on a killing spree here now. It's so difficult to get in towards this as tankers rain down fire on top of all of these teams. 1 player is knocked, but, well, there's no real danger. They'll be able to get themselves back up on this one in the zone, but well out of the way of the other... Well, the other 4 teams, it looks like. We've still got 1 player left of SG team, but the other 3, they're really holding these positions down. Look at these 2 teams fighting out in this house.
Yep, and this is going to be probably the squad that's able to win this out. Might actually have the best position on this final ring, but both teams playing very patiently, as they should be. Osaka and Riot Squad trying to find their in to make sure that this fight can be quick, clean, and effective, because they cannot risk going down. They know that other squads are about to start pushing in, and the ring is going to start pushing in as well, and both teams are going to lose access to this building, so it's going to have to be soon, and it's going to have to be quick as both teams start to move in. SG eliminated in the meantime by Osaka, and Osaka now doing tons of work on Riot Squad as they move out of the building, but now they're caught outside of zone, and it looks like Riot Squad might be able to pick up a couple of the kills here on their way out. But in the end, it's going to be Osaka picking up Riot Squad and moving into zone with a trio to spare. And now Tonka's duo, the last members on the map. We went from 5 squads to 2 in the course of half of a ring rotation. Osaka now with the 3-man squad and the 1-man advantage. It's going to be close though, Twiggy, as those members are not looking the healthiest.
Oh, wow. That was a brilliant catch before the glue wall got up to knock 1 player here. It's only 1 player left standing on the last side. Osaka will be able to get their teammate up. Now, it's just 1 to take down. Chevron round the corner here. They will all turn at the same time, and it's tankers that are eliminated, and Osaka that take the booyah.
A big booyah indeed for Osaka, and what a comeback for them. After a very disappointing start, they managed to pick it up and get the booyah. That is exactly how you want to come back from a deficit, Twiggy.
Yeah, a brilliant play, and they just took their time. I think the main part of that one was Riot Squad really just started getting a bit jittery. They wanted to move outside of there before the ring started moving. Osaka, they really took their time, waited for Riot Squad to start moving out, then fired down on them. Even if they lost them one player to the zone, even if a few of them were knocked, they just waited it out and tried to take it until the last two teams made it happen, and then they were just in a 3v2. Even if they'd lost one more player, wouldn't really have mattered too much. They had so many glue walls and so many grenades to be able to knock those players down, and it was just brilliant play, I think, from Osaka in the end.
And we know Osaka can perform, so even with a even fight, even if it were 3 versus 3, Osaka with a great chance to make it happen there. And like we said right at the beginning of those fights, whatever squad, whether it be Riot Squad or Osaka, was probably going to have the best position. And indeed, all of the other squads on the other side of the ring managed to just finish each other off, which was really, really great for whatever squad survived, in this case, Osaka. So yeah, shout out to Riot Squad. They almost came through, but a little bit too antsy and a little bit less patient than Osaka, who managed to punish them on their rotation with the high ground of that building. Congrats to them. And I expect to see a really great scoreline for them to sort of try and get back into the game, because they were near the very bottom of the leaderboard coming off of game 1.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, CK Esports, who were knocked right out at the beginning of the game, so they were the first team to get out, were at the top. Osaka were at the bottom. They had 0 points, and they won this game with a lot of kills, so we're going to see a massive switch up on that leaderboard at the end of this one. Once we get those scores in, once we get them all calculated, get them up on the screen for you, it's going to be a big change, so that's going to be exciting.
And an absolute clash of the Titans with very, very sensitive score lines, because like you said, CK, the leaders going in, already knocked down the giant, the one that you're probably most afraid of going into game 2, comes out early, and that is exactly the kind of positioning you want to kick things off with. And here we see Osaka there with a 20-point game. We see this as the common scoreline cutoff for the winning team that is really performing in that game, with Tonkas in second place, still picked up 8 kills and managed 17 points. And then Riot Squad, Tijuana, and SG pretty close behind them. But now we're going to see that some of these leads are going to start to build, though. That's not going to be the case for CK.
Yeah, and oh my god, there is a 5-point difference between the top 6 teams. Somehow, some way, the points have evened out. You can see CK Esports with 21 on the first game, 1 on the second. Riot Squad with 11 in both. Trinitarios with 17 and 6, 7 and 17, 13 and 12. All of these add up to just in the lower half of 20 points. This is the closest lobby I think I have ever seen. That is insane.
And look at the kill lines as well. I mean, we see Trinitarios in third place, still with 15 kills. So they haven't exactly had the late zone placements, but they have managed to completely slay out the rest of the lobby in the process, making them very, very competitive in terms of the leaderboard placements. CK Esports, again, just a very disappointing scoreline for game 2, still managed to sit in 4th place. I mean, this is so insane. Riot Squad, the squad that we saw in second place, or in third place, excuse me, actually tied with CK Esports. I mean, this is ridiculous. To have this in game 2 already so tight a running, every single game from now on is going to be an absolute nail biter.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is just absolutely incredible. This is going to be really, I think, the lobby to watch going into game 3, game 4. Obviously, everything could change in the next 2 games, but that is going to be absolutely brilliant. We are going to be moving to lobby 4 for the next game, so we'll get up the leaderboards for that one just for you in a little bit. But I mean, so many exciting games so far, and if I just check in on lobby 2, let's just see how close all of that is. Yeah, I mean, it's very close in lobby 2 as well. We're seeing a lot of very close lobbies here. A lot of them still haven't finished game 2, but it's just brilliant. Here's lobby 4 for you before we get into this next game, where you can see, I mean, Club 9D have already started making a massive comeback. 2 points in the first game, 24 in the second, and now they are in second place. But again, a very close grouping in the top of the lobby.
And Onu, excuse me, with the biggest pop off I think we've seen today, 27 points, managing 21 kills across 2 games. That is insane. That is a terrifying team that you don't want to see in your lobby. Club 90 with a big game, as you said, to pick it up. And Universo, who we know performed extremely well in their lobby during the round of 192, now with 25 points. But again, like the middle of the pack here is so close. The top 6 move on to the next round of 48. And GZ Esport, Forgotten Ones, and War God separated by 1 point, 7/8 from 9th, and they are just 5 points away from Tokyo End. So Tokyo might need to see this all the way through to the end with great performances because they are right on the line. This is not going to be an easy qualifier by any means.
Yeah, and I mean, anything could happen. I think we saw Boss Gaming last week, and they actually did do quite well, obviously. I mean, they got into the top 6 of their lobby. We have to remember going into this one that all of these teams have already proven themselves to some extent. It's not like when we say this team did incredibly well that we mean all of the rest of these teams on here aren't ones to look out for. They've already made themselves into the top 96 in North America at the current point in time. So it's all to play for still, and all of these teams at the bottom, we just saw it in the last game. We saw a team go straight from 0 all the way up to 6th place in one fell swoop, and we could see it in every other lobby here so far.
And adapting and overcoming these really strong teams really is the name of the game, because every time you drop into a new lobby, it's a new opportunity to take down the lobby leaders, and no one has any special, any special treatment here. If you drop into Purgatory, you're getting dropped along with every other team with just the same amount of loot to work with. So you better be ready to outgun anyone who comes your way, because all of these teams, like you said, have proven themselves to some degree. These are no longer just the squads that decided to sign up one day and hoped. These are the squads that signed up one day are now moving day to day, trying their best to cement their spot in North American Free Fire. This is exactly why I love tournaments like these, where we finally get to watch some of these teams and some of these players show what they have. But as we get into game number 3, we also get into the next round of maps with Purgatory in our rotation.
Yeah, Purgatory quite different. Obviously, a lot less open space in the whole map. We started it off with one of the most open maps, one of the most difficult maps to circumnavigate here, but there's a lot of buildings to work with around here. There's going to be at least a tiny bit of cover no matter where that ring lands. So maybe a little easier for some teams, but some teams really do thrive in those open locations with those glue walls and just trying to make things happen by themselves. So it could be a very different story. No matter what happens here, as teams all drop in, it's looking a lot more bunched up than we saw last time.
Yeah, the southern side of the map here, that bean is incredibly populated, and Laonu already getting aggressive. Looks like they picked up a couple of guns to get that early fire onto one member of Boss Gaming, and that is terrible to start off, giving Laonu the biggest pop-off so far with an early kill already. Boss Gaming with not so great a performance to kick things off either, and with no guns or glue walls to speak of. They are running literally for the hills, but these hills will offer no protection from Laonu, who's just going to walk up along this river and claim the KP that is rightfully theirs.
I mean, if there's any team you really don't want to drop next to, it is probably Laonu, who have proven themselves in 2 games so far. You can see Universo are getting on the kill board as well, but at this point, Boss Gaming is going to be cleaned up real quick. Here we go. One more member just taken down here, punching for his life. Not going to happen. Taken down. And there's only one player left of Boss Gaming there, Blex, trying to run for the hills, but Santi is actually following him all the way over there.
And I mean, you have to do what you got to do. Like, sometimes if you know that there is kill points to be picked up, you got to pick them up. But Blex actually finding a nice vehicle to ride on out, but it's not a joyride by any means, as all 3 members of his squad have been finished off in Boss Gaming, now starting off with a solo. So the game isn't quite over for them, but it might as well be. I don't think they're going to do a whole lot with that solo. As we start to check out some of the other teams, as you said, Universo did get involved in an early scuffle. I don't know if they managed to get a lot of kills off of it, but now we get to check out GZ looking on across the way in Brasilia.
Yeah, Blacklist over the other side of this little estate in Brasilia here, trying to hold their location. I'm not sure if either team knows where the other team is positioned. I think GZ has seen the players of Blacklist. I'm not sure if the opposite is true. We'll see in a second. We saw a lot of fights right here in the last week. So, I mean, it should just be a matter of time until one of these teams gives up their location. Luckily, both in nice positions for the next ring, but we're going to start to see teams pushed out of their locations very shortly.
And these are the squads that have to start thinking about resource management, because although they might have the ring pulling towards them, not only do they have to worry about managing their glue walls and not overcommitting resources to an early game fight, they also have to worry about finding kill points somewhere along the way. We've seen it so many times. It is not enough to get a late game placement. You have to find those kills. So I think at some point, one of those teams is going to commit to the fight. We've seen it time and time again in those buildings. Brasilia, a really interesting place to fight. And those building pushes can go south so quickly. It really is just a delicate balance every time teams choose to fight. So yeah, we'll see how that develops as we get to check out Team G on their rotation to Forge.
Yeah, Team G just running down the hill here. They're having a field day, getting all of the resources they can. Nobody else within, well, too far of them here, but we're seeing now, who is this? I'm not actually quite sure.
Oh, and 90 already having to commit a time turner. Club 90 on the defensive as B2W honestly putting a lot more pressure than I was expecting from that range. They did seem like they were a little bit further away. I'm not exactly sure what team that actually is. B2W. We had this issue last time and we never learned, I guess, but now they're moving up a little bit here, and look at the way they're holding the angles, Twiggy. That team is not together by any stretch of the imagination. They are holding every single angle that they can, but they might be punished for it, as trees are often not enough cover to hold a time turner going down, and that is a resource they're no longer going to have here. And it looks like 90 actually getting the better end of this deal for now, but Corby going down really low right as I say that.
Yeah, this fight could really go either way, and you can see so many players have been knocked down or gotten down to very low HP. Luckily, both of them are just about getting away with it, but I mean, there's no cover for either team, particularly here, especially this attacking team on 90's backs. It's going to be so difficult for them to actually make anything happen if they can't get behind walls, if they can't get behind cover.
Yep, and that is just how it goes. So they might have to pop off and away from this one. I believe B2W, excuse me, is going to be the kill squad, who not finding too many kills quite yet, but 90 might be their first victims if they can find a way here. But now both teams have to start worrying about how many resources they're committing to this fight. We see Shamsam there, who hasn't actually quite started healing, which could be a really bad omen. It could mean that they are out of meds and actually stuck behind this rock without the ability to move. So maybe waiting for a time turner to come back off of cooldown, or maybe hoping that their team finds a rotation to punish this team. But right now, 90 holding down the better angles, though this might turn really ugly as the squad now starts to surround the team and might just rain down gunfire very soon.
Yeah, you can see they've held all four corners here. Carla's actually, he's been found out on the rotation round, and just the superior gunfighter from Millsy there is going to be able to knock him down completely. And the risk of trying to surround a team like this is it means you're completely separated from your teammates. They aren't going to be able to help you if you do get caught. Now 3 members left here of Kill Squad, and it's this much more difficult to win the fight at this point. Shamsam still has not healed. Pretty sure he's out of healing at this point. Oh, and he's going to be knocked down very quickly as well. It's 9D who are coming up ahead in this fight. Corby knocked down, but still in... Demon's taken down as well. Not an easy location now for Demon with 1 player left on his squad.
And I think that player might actually be down with a self-res or something. I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, like you said, Twiggy, it can be a really great idea, but the execution just was not there. 90 with fantastic defense, holding down all of the right angles and cashing out that flank as Zaddy now just has to make their way on out of there. Kill Squad not really living up to the name here and having to back on out to rat it out for the rest of the game. And I mean, that is really unfortunate, because that could have gone either way. It just seems like they didn't have the resources and they didn't have the execution to make that one happen. Meanwhile, we get to watch as WG War Gods actually walking into zone as well. And they look like they haven't had too much action so far, so they're probably pretty well kitted and just, strolling their way along Purgatory.
Yeah, lovely. Well, when 3 teams or 4 teams drop in the same exact location, it's going to make it a little more easy for you to, if you drop away from them, to get nice resources, get yourself well kitted out before you start these fights. But it is going to be a fight that starts happening here as they walk up on Team Gaming. It's only a matter of time until they see each other. Well, I mean, Kill Squad is also in the area, might actually just be flared down. Oh, I think, has been spotted by War Gods here. Oh dear, I think it's over for Kill Squad, hiding behind a tree.
A dream that actually comes true to some extent. That is a great way to kick things off. If you're a solo, they might just go for the thirst here if they're able to do it, but the glue wall is there and they're just gonna push with nothing left to lose. Kill Squad with the time turner and the attempt at this unnamed individual's life, and it looks like they're gonna successfully keep it. They don't get it. They don't get the KP, and that is so unfortunate. That actually looked so good for them. Oh, they did. It might have been a visual glitch there, and what a way to go out, Kill Squad.
Well, yeah, I mean, faced with a situation where likely in the 1v2 he was going to be pushed down on, decided to just go for that 1 point and finish out the game with 1 more point that they would have otherwise. Now, here we go. Team Gaming, they are actually walking up on another squad here, trying to keep them away from each other. I think this is Dual Kings, but Dual Kings coming out on top, being able to take down 2 players already as the last 2 players of Team Gaming try and make their way through, but the glue walls are everywhere. And it looks like this team is just well kitted out already. Shotgun blasts into Daniel and Jeremy are going to take them down as well. It's pretty much over for Team Gaming now. That's the whole squad eliminated. They will be leaving without any positional points. I think without any points whatsoever.
Kill Squad somehow, some way, don't manage to get a lot of kills, but they managed to kill Team Gaming's hopes and dreams, as that situation led to their demise with Dual Kings just walking up for the free third party. So they have to be careful and start recovering health, because we have another squad on the wings walking up from the western side of the map. I'm not sure which squad that is. I believe that's going to be Team Club 9D. Yep, and there they are looking down on the squad, who's in a bit of an unfortunate situation, and already 2 knocks and a full kill going down, and I imagine grenades galore as 9D going to walk up to claim these kills, and no amount of glue walls is going to defend from these fantastic grenades. I think the time turner was already used earlier, a time turn in response, and a great timed one as well. More glue walls, and they have glue walls to spare as the time turner gunfights kick things off. But 9D now the new kill leaders, and they're going to finish off what's left of this squad. Blatty, with their tail tucked between their legs, gonna get on out of there, and that is a great set of kill points for 9D.
Yeah, story we're seeing time and time again. Teams just running up on others, making sure they can capitalize off of a team that has just come fresh off a fight. Means that they're, maybe not prepared for another one. They don't have as many resources as they did before. They don't have as many glue walls or grenades, and they're just they're reeling from the last attack. You come up behind them, it's going to be a lot easier to take down those players, but everybody now starting to get much more tightly grouped. You can see all these teams are very close to each other, but with 10 squads left, only 30 members left on all of those, so an average of 3 members to each squad. It's making it that much more difficult.
And I hate to be the one to say it, but that really felt like the ghost of Kill Squad's past, actually ruining it for multiple teams. That one scenario with the solo pick managed to completely destroy the game plan of at least 2 teams there in reality, because that squad did not have time to recover. And it looks like WG won't be recovering from this situation either, as one member going down, maybe just rotated a little bit too wide. And now this team is going to pick up a couple of easy kills. That's going to be Tokyo End, who we once again saw right in the middle of the pack, right in 6th place. They're probably feeling pretty good about this, because now they are in the top 10 with a kill off of what was just an unfortunate late game rotation. So yeah, this is how you want to kick it off. And I think they have this entire side of the map pretty well cleared. So they're going to have a decent rotation here. Not too much to worry about. They do get to buy in the shop as well. So they're going to be kitted moving into the next ring.
Yeah, teams nicely distributed once again, but you can see, oh no, Boss Gaming and another team here. What is your boy on? I can't remember. F1S, that is. Trying to figure out. Forgotten Ones, there we go. Both outside the ring, and they might actually start a fight at this point if they see each other here. Oh no. Oh no. I think your boy Shelly just saw him. No, we're just waiting to see. They do have enough healing to get out of this one, but they are going to be engaging with each other very soon. There's no way. I thought for a second he just was going to turn the camera at a time, but your boy Shelly, he's going to get run up on. Oh, putting the glue wall down just in time. He's going to stay away from this one, and now the onus is on Blex to get out of the ring.
And I can't help but hear the Duel of Fates in my head as the grenades start to come out. And that's a great grenade, though it doesn't quite get behind the glue wall. They are going to just continue healing on off before they start to re-engage. And they are both right on the edge of zone, but there's another squad that's actually raining down gunfire from the other side, I believe. So this is the 1v1 for the 10th place finish, and it's going to be Boss Gaming eliminated and FFPS able to clutch it out and continue on their rat journey.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of noise in the team voice chat there. Just Forgotten Ones are getting themselves into the points there with a kill point and a point for positional placement as well. They are now in the top 9. Very nice for them, but everyone's so tightly grouped now as his zone starts to move in once again. He's going to have to run towards everyone here, but it's in a lovely built-up area that everybody can just sit in and wait.
And waiting is sometimes the name of the game. Blacklist there already with a decent building. Meanwhile, one lone member of this squad, Tokyo and I believe, that's actually 2 of them who managed to make their way back into this game one way or another. They're actually a full squad of 4, but they're a bit split. And this might actually be a bit favorable for them. Random shots there. I'm not sure what they were going for. But they might run into one of the members of Duel Kings. I believe that is a solo member of Duel Kings. And look at this. They are just completely surrounding Blatty, who's going to do their absolute best to defend with Glue Wall and Time Turner. And actually manages to pick one up. And this could actually be the kill point for them if they manage to finish it off, but they choose to run instead. And I guess if you're going to opt for running away or taking the kill, sometimes you can't risk it, but they continue to punish the squad. And Duel Kings, actually a duo there we see now as they split along the map, putting so much work in it and actually just annihilating this team in the process. Now 1 member left, and that's going to be Max Cano, who does pick up a kill. So now a 1 versus 1, but 90 looking down on this fight as well. And the third party was there. Corby picking up another kill, making it 7 for Club 90.
Yeah, 6 squads left remaining here and so tightly packed. As the zone is going to start moving very soon now. Everybody needs to get in their chosen locations. There's only 1 house in that massive part of the ring there. 1 massive house in that part of the ring. So trying to fortify this one now are the teams that run in towards them so close together.
And here we see Universo 7, another great squad, but they are already getting popped as Zeno goes down. And I believe I saw even more kills going for the side of team number 12, I believe. I think they're right on the wings, but Universo 7 now has to try and defend against Blacklist, who did have a great spot in the building, but now has to move, and that is a great grenade. But the Time Turner was there to defend a little bit longer. Zeno going down once again, and now a 3 versus 2 situation for Universo 7. They're going to try and walk up, but their lone member does get finished off. And now Universo 7 going to have to try and contend with Glue Walls and Time Turners galore. They're going to have to move on out of here as well because they cannot stay in this spot outside of ring, and neither can Blacklist. So I think that at some point something's got to give, as Onu and XBX, this squad, Duel Kings, also already in the ring, but getting absolutely annihilated by a huge grenade from Principe.
That is an insane grenade. It just threaded the needle over towards the squad. Now 2 members are already down. They're getting run up on. They had such a lovely location, and somehow 1 grenade has dismantled the full team. Everybody is running in on this location. You can see that Onu is moving in towards them very quickly. You can see Universo coming down on the room as well. Time Turner committed. Glue Wall's committed. They're trying to stay away from this one as best they can, but Onu is coming in from every angle, and you can see other teams are joining in on the fight as well. 90 trying to pick people off from the hills. The zone is moving in and everybody needs to get within this building now. Oh my god, they're trying to spray them down here, the last remaining members of this team, but everything is going on all at once. You can see sniper shots coming out from 9D everywhere, a triple kill from Millsy as they move in, and it's getting more and more exciting.
And this is going from bad to worse for so many squads, but it's so hard to keep track of with how deadly this ring is. And look at how many squads have made their way in, but only 3 squads left. We have Laonu in absolute shambles, just split away from each other as 90 makes the full push, and this could be really dangerous for them. I don't think they understand what is actually going on in this building, but it doesn't matter as Millsy picks up kill after kill with the shotgun and with the nades. They're going to finish off the 3rd member of Laonu, and now Mario and Santi have to do their absolute best to finish off this game, but they are 2 members versus 4 of 9D, and Club 9D now might be in the best spot that they're going to get to win a game. They have to walk out into zone, and it's going to be one last member, Mario, doing their absolute best, but Millsy completely popping off, and 1 member left standing between them, but it will not be the case, and the booyah for Club 9D.
My lord, Millsy with 7 kills just by themselves there. 90 is going to come away not only with the booyah, but with an insane amount of kill points there. That's going to be massive for them coming into this game. Now, they were, well, I mean, they weren't even, okay, no, they were second, sorry. They finished the first game with 2 points, but 24 in the second game. This is going to be a massive increase for them well into the top. Obviously, the top 2 teams were the top 2 teams in that game. Laonu, who got 27 points in the last game, definitely, I don't think they got nearly as many points as Club 9D in this one. It's going to even it out quite significantly because there was a 9-point gap. Sorry, no, an 11-point gap between those 2 teams after the last game. So this should be very close now.
Yeah, and this lobby looking a little bit more top end heavy. We're seeing a lot of the same squads that were able to put up points in performance in games 1 and 2 and 3. Now looking really, really great as we actually get a quick peek at the scores. In Club 9D with their pop-off performance of 26 points following a 24-point performance in game 2. That is huge. Essentially, I believe dethroning Laonu. We'll see how everything stacks up in the end. Laonu obviously having a huge game and still coming in second place with 8 kills and 17 points. But look at how top heavy this lobby is. GZ Esports, 7 points off of what was a second place finish for Laonu. And Universo, actually the next closest team with 5 kills, coming in at 11 points. The middle of the pack here is tight, but Club 9D and Laonu absolutely own lobby number 4 right now.
Yeah, we'll get to see how that adds on to the other games in just a second here, but I think it's going to be very, very big of a gap between Club 9D and Universo here, or at least Laonu and Universo, whoever's on top after that game. But yeah, I mean, it's another one of these. Here we go. 2 points between Laonu and Club 9D. Laonu just about holding on to their lead here, but look at that. That is a 16 point difference between Club 9D and Universo. That's a massive one because, I mean, only one team at this point has got a game that has been over 16 points below the top 2 here. So I think Club 9D and Laonu are probably pretty close to safe at this point. They can really play on their haunches for the rest of these last 3 games.
So, taking out first and second and kind of considering the rest of the field, Tokyo and Esports moved up 1 position with 21. They are holding 5th by 1 point. GZ Esports, 1 point below them, and Kill Squad, 1 point below them. This middle of the pack is such a hotly contested race, and that was off the back of a 0-point performance for Kill Squad that we saw with them just absolutely getting decimated early on. That is not what you want to see, and I'm actually not sure. We'll have to double check on those because I believe Kill Squad griefed at least 1 kill there. But in any case, this is such a tight race. And I mean, War God still very much in contention, just 4 points off of 7th. Forgotten Ones with 1 point away from that. The middle of the pack here is so close, and this is what's really going to matter in terms of the performances we want to watch, because while Laonu and Club 9D have kind of cemented their spot, or pretty much as good as cemented their spot into the next round of qualifiers, as long as they continue to perform as they have across games 1, 2, and 3, it's going to be GZ, Kill Squad, Tokyo N, whose positions are really in a precarious situation right now. Yeah,
really closely packed here. I mean, I'm just getting information from the game admin here, but the Kill Squad did not get a kill. It is possible that, bleeding out there. Kill squad, the player was eliminated just before that last player bled out, and it didn't count as a kill for kill squad, which is very unfortunate for them because it was a matter of milliseconds, I must say. But wow, I mean, it's going to be so close here. I mean, 6 points, 7 points even between 9 and 5 here. So all to play for most of these teams at this point. Actually, well, every team. There's 3 games left. You could still go from last to first at this point if the turns of time were in your favor, as it were.
And I mean, any squad, we've said it before, and I'll keep saying it again. Any team could have a 26, 27 point performance. We've seen it, I believe, from a lot of these squads. I know for sure Universo had a really, really big pop-up performance in the round of 192, and GZ Esport as well. So they are not out of contention for floating to the top of the stack. I mean, La ONU and Club 90 are playing fantastically right now, but look at how things kicked off for them. I mean, a 10-point game and a 2-point game, that is actually not going to be enough if they see those kinds of performances in games 4, 5, and 6. I mean, they need to keep it up, and they need to be hot on the heels of any other squad that's trying to, take the spot away from them, because while they might not float to the bottom, they still are doing their best to cement themselves as the best in North America. So they need to continue to perform, because there's a lot of other squads that are after these qualification spots.
Yep, absolutely. Concluding that third game, we still have 3 more to go. 1 more map to see, and then another map after that one. We're just going to go to a quick 12-minute break. We'll be back very shortly, so don't go anywhere. It's getting heated now.
Yeah, my life is lovely now, I'm focused on me. You said you were about to die, I guess the car is on E. But see, I ain't even tripping, cause I just chose to believe that somebody gon' come around and give me just what I need. I don't wanna see you finding, see you looking down and out. Coming to me crying, saying you miss having me around. Gave you chances and you blew it, you so easily influenced. All the times you told me beat it, now you gotta face the music, I'm saying.
I know that I gotta stay away from all your games, and I know that I found somebody else to love me one day. You'll realize the grass ain't greener on the other side. No, you did me dirty for the last time, so now I gotta say goodbye. So now I gotta say
Memories. They comfort us. Ground us. Develop us. Define us. Some we cherish, others we bury. But they are ours. And how we choose to live with them is no one's decision but our own.
Hi, survivors. Welcome to the Free Fire Pro Series for North America. Participants will get the chance to showcase their skills and compete for their share of the $50,000 prize pool. This inaugural season will take place across 3 months in 4 unique phases: the Open Qualifier, the Group Stage, the Last Chance Qualifier, and the Finals. Teams will accumulate points throughout each of these stages, resetting for everyone at the start of each new phase. We will kick things off in the Open Qualifier. Teams from across the entire North American region will be split into lobbies of 12 teams, where survivors will battle it out for 6 games to earn their place in the next round. Teams will be awarded points for their in-game performance, including points for their final placement in the lobby, as well as their kills throughout the games. At the end of these games, the top teams from each lobby will move on to the round of 96. This round will feature new lobbies and 6 more games for each team. The teams that finish in the top 6 for their lobby will move on to a final qualifier round of 48, after which only 24 teams will be left standing to move on to the group stage. The group stage will be comprised of a 3-week season, with 2 game days each weekend. The teams promoted from the Open Qualifier will be placed into 4 groups of 6 teams each. Throughout the season, these groups will be paired on game days in a round-robin format, so that each group will face off against every other group in a 12-team lobby at least once. At the conclusion of the group stage, the top 8 teams from this stage will qualify directly to the finals. The bottom 4 teams in the overall standings will be dropped from the tournament, and the remaining teams will move on to the Last Chance Qualifier. The Last Chance Qualifier will see the teams placed 9th through 20th from the group stage compete in their final opportunity to qualify for the finals. Their bouts will take place over the course of 2 game days, with 6 games per day, all in a final bid to earn their shot at the championship. After this intense LCQ stage, only the teams in the top 4 will be able to move on to the finals. To cap things off, our grand finals will take place over the span of 3 days, with the top 12 teams from the tournament playing 6 games every day for a grand total of 18. Here, teams must go all out to earn points and stake their claim as the inaugural Free Fire Pro Series champions. At the end of the 3 game days, the 12 finalists will receive their share of the $50,000 prize pool, and a North American champion will be crowned. All right, Survivor, the battlefield awaits for those who think they have what it takes to bring home the championship. Looking to prove your skills and be the best in North America? Whether you'll be participating or merely spectating the show for fun, we'll see you there. Good luck and have fun. We'll be there with plenty of booyahs.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the North American Free Fire Pro Series, and we are back for game number 4 today. Another trip to Purgatory and another trip to a different lobby. Actually, going to be checking out lobby number 7 for game number 4, and another big game, or another big team name that we're going to have to be watching throughout the tournament, Virus Gaming, with 52 points in first.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, actually not in first when we were looking at the leaderboard just before we went live here. They were actually in 4th just before this last game, but finishing last game with 27 points. That matches the highest score we've seen so far today for 1-for-1 in that one. And that's absolutely massive. Has put them 12 points ahead of Team Butcher, who only got 1 point last game, but it's nice and tightly packed in the top 6 with a couple of teams in contention there. C7 Sport only 3 points away from 6th. Esports not too far away. 22 points away from there is definitely doable. Or 12, sorry. I can't do addition today, apparently. Well, there you go. But it's still all to play for near the top there.
I respect your bravery in doing public math, but yeah, C7 here with 28 points, definitely in the running. Esports has a lot of ground to make up, and God Esport, I mean, they can have that game, right? If we put Virus Gaming's Game 3 performance and tack it onto Esports, you're there. I mean, you are in the top 6. So I expect these performances in these games to be pretty well thought out, because now that the squads have had 3 games to figure out how their lobby plays and how the other teams are performing, they can adapt their gameplay and make sure that they're doing everything they can to rack up those points. Because remember, you need to be in the top 6 to move on to the round of 48 tomorrow, and then have another big performance to move on to the group stage. So we will roll right into game number 4, our last game of Purgatory. And Twiggy, what are you looking for in this game now that we've already been through 3 of them?
Well, always in the second half of the day, it is really all about the teams coming up with counter strategies, figuring out what those top teams are doing. What's Virus Gaming doing to get 27 points in that game? How can we stop them from doing that? Or even better, what are SKB Clan doing that they are in 6th place? How can we just get those 3 points over them? Let's try and stop them from getting those kills. Let's try and stop them from getting that far down in the game. Take them over, make it a better situation for all of us. And that is really what I'm looking for, is those teams trying to dethrone those top 6.
And we know that there's some teams in this lobby that are absolute fraggers. I mean, Virus Gaming, very dominant throughout their round of 192 performance. We also got to see C7 doing a lot of work in their lobby, and a couple of other, teams that weren't at the top of the top, but were still making great performances happen. God Esport and Death Note, also one of those contenders. So yeah, there's a lot of talent in here, and it looks like kicking things off, this lobby is respecting each other's drops a lot. We see C7 with the entire north side of the moat house there, that moat house area, Crossroads going over to RDZ Official, and a lot of other squads just kind of spread out, not opting to contest. And honestly, this is what I expect from higher end lobbies, Twiggy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we actually saw Virus Gaming get very close to OG Street there. They actually definitely saw each other at one point during that drop there, but they decided we're just going to stick to our locations, loot up a little bit, not contest each other. Both of these teams are in the top 6 already. They don't really particularly want to have a game where they get 0 points. Neither of them do whatsoever. So they just sit back. They're going to give each other some space, respect each other at this point, and really leave it up to the other teams to try and contest them out of their locations.
Yeah, we've seen it in some of the other lobbies where even if you're very, very far ahead, those leads can get dismantled really quickly. In Lobby 8, we saw that Osaka jumped positions extremely quickly off of one game performance, and just keeping it consistent really is the name of the game for a lot of these teams, especially the middle of the pack teams. Some of those teams that don't have the advantage to work with as comfortably need to make sure that their performance don't get any crazier necessarily. I mean, it never hurts to have a big 27-point game, but if you stay consistent and make sure that you're racking up those points above the bottom 6, that is what it's going to take to move on to the round of 48.
Yeah. Well, we're seeing teams just stay away from each other at this point still, and just stick back, get loot going, and it's actually going to be a lot of these really big, high value fights where each team, they've got all their glue walls up. Here we go, Esports have located OG Street. They were one of the teams that dropped towards the south side of the map with Virus Gaming here. And they're just waiting for their chance. Esports currently in 8th position, only a few points away from OG here, and they'll just run straight into them. Wow, Grid almost getting taken down there. Going to be able to get away just about quickly enough, but they're hunting them down at this point. Esports, no, Blue is going to be taken down, and that's the first casualty out of all of these teams trying to regain their position here. The grenades they throw out. Grid trying to get away from the rest of these teams here. 3 players still up on each of them, but shots are being fired towards this rock here, and I think it's Esports that are going to be going down in the end. Klein is going to have to run away. I think that's going to be just about it, as First Blood goes to OG Street, and they will take down 3 members eventually of that Esports side.
And more importantly, they don't lose any members in the process. So not only do they pick up 3 kills, they also manage to conserve their entire squad. All of that firepower going to move into the latter half of the game, which is extremely important. Meanwhile, Klein going to have to do their absolute best to rack up points towards the end. And that is exactly the situation you don't want to be in as a middle of the pack team. Esports needed to put up a big performance there, 19 points to the next placement's 28, and that is going to be a really hard hill to climb, and it's going to get even tougher now with a solo member. I didn't really love their position on that rock, and it looks like they got punished for it heavily by OG Street.
Yeah, really trying to take them by surprise. If they got that first pick, it probably would have been well in their favor, but unfortunately, I mean, just the glue wall timing was brilliant, got away with just a sliver of health, and even though Grid was taken down in the end, or knocked down in the end, not taken down, his teammates were already there to come to his aid and make sure that he wasn't actually taken down and just take out the rest of those players. Now, they are a little bit weaker, though. They do have a lot of that utility taken away from them by that fight. A lot of glue walls went down, a couple of time turners as well, a lot of grenades. So, if they do engage with Virus Gaming there, it's going to be more difficult, but we've got kills going out already.
Yep, and it looks like the squad caught in the middle here, SKB clan, doing their best to move on out of the way, but they're sandwiched by Z4N and RDZ, the three-character team of death, walking up and trying to make something happen, which they really need to because they are at the absolute bottom of the standings right now. So they need to put up not one, not two, but three big games to try and make their way into contention. But SKB now the ones in slightly better position, though Capitan does go down as they try and punish this Z4N squad on their rotation. And it looks like that's not going to be the right start to the fight, as Capitan getting completely fleshed and taken out now. SKB with two members looking down on Z4N.
Yeah, and it's very difficult now for SKB. They really need to be very careful. They're teetering on the edge of that top 6 at the moment, and they have 0 kills to work with. They're 2 members down. If Z4N really do push this one, Z4N could be moving well up, and SKB could be moving well down. So that's a fight that's going to have a lot of value for both teams.
Yeah, and absolutely deadly as well. I mean, even in those early rotations, you cannot be overconfident. You have to be aware of what other teams have dropped near you and what other teams are willing to hunt you down for the additional kill points. So, yeah, they're just going to make their way on out of here. Another duo squad, but still 12 teams up. We know there's at least one solo and this duo. So I think that is possibly all of the rounds accounted for. No, actually, we're missing a couple more. But RDZ now making their way into this side of the ring. And they shouldn't have too much trouble here as they make their way in the Marble Works. There might be a fight here breaking out eventually, but Z4N actually playing this pretty passively, and I think that might be a decent play. I think they might just opt to slow things down and make sure that they get placement first and kills later on, because we know they need both.
Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, it's going to be really, really, you're going to want to go in for those kills, try and get yourself as many points as possible when you're low on points. They're on 1 point right now in 3 games. They really need to make up ground. It's very tempting to just run in, try and get as many kills as you can and guarantee points, but it's definitely smarter, I think, the more level-headed play to sit back and just try and poach off as many kills as you can. You've got 3 games left to go. I mean, you do need those points, definitely, but it's going to be more important to get well into the top 10 before you start going for those kills, I think.
And here we see Klein trying to make their way into that top 10 position the best they can, but no squads have dropped quite yet, and they are doing their best to avoid the wrath of Death Note 999, who is just on the other side of that drop, and it looks like they might have gotten spotted out or maybe just opting to pick up that loot on the way. It is just as important as a solo as it is with a full squad. You need to make sure that you have the right meds and the right glue walls for a quick getaway if you need it. RDZ now hunting on the very edge of the zone, walking over to this blue zone, which we know can have really fantastic loot for your team, and they don't have a lot of squads to worry about right now. We can see them walking into Corey, and they're just going to be able to pick up some loot, which is so crucial, especially for a team like RDZ, who isn't necessarily, farming the entire lobby. They are closer to the middle of the pack, so if they expect to move their way into that 1st through 3rd positions, they have to have big games in games 4 through 6.
Yeah, definitely. I think they'll definitely want to play it safe as well. I mean, 6 points away from, C7 spot there in 7th place, so it's definitely a possibility that they drop out of this one. I'd say definitely want to secure at least 4 points at this point and just try and stay ahead of the pack, even if it means that you're not quite going for flashy plays. Look, it doesn't matter if you come first. You're not getting any prizes at this point for coming first in your lobby. It's going to be great, and it looks great on that Liquipedia page, but it's not going to really affect what happens later on in the coming weeks. You just want to make sure you get through. If it's by the skin of your teeth, whether by an inch or a mile, as they say, it's the same effect.
And that is really when you know that the opportunity is there for North American Free Fire, because once you're in the group stage, you've kind of proven that you're here to fight and you're here to make, these wins happen. And there's a lot of improvement that can happen between now and the group stage. So you said it best. I think once you're in that round of qualify, or through the round of qualifiers, you can really cement your name and continue to perform better and better. Meanwhile, OG Street performing great here as they walk into a lone member of Team Esports and actually traded out. And that's actually big for Esports. It looks like they're going to pick up a kill and they are going to get chased down in return, but it doesn't matter. At the very least, picking up 1 kill, though OG Street does clean this up, and we're down to 11 squads finally. The last member, Klein, getting eliminated from Purgatory.
Yeah, first team to go down, so no points for placement, but 1 kill does mean that they're just kind of cruising along. They're not going to get into the top 6 this game, not by a long shot, but at least 1 point makes it a little easier to get through. Still got 2 more games to go after this one. It's definitely still possible, but unlucky for them, definitely. It's going to put the pressure on a little more later on. Seeing teams, though, look for each other here. I think SKB are trying to stay away from these guys. Again, they are in 6th position and they can be taken over very quickly, so just holding down as many locations as they can without engaging.
Yeah, it looked like Yandel, they're already holding down a building for the rest of his team to walk in. Meanwhile, RHLM, who is doing pretty well so far in the lobby, they haven't done anything crazy, but they have performed to the caliber that is expected from the round of 96. So they're going to make their way into the ring as well. And they have a nice hill to play off of as well, which is great for gaining vision and gaining information throughout the map. So we'll see what they can do as they walk into the edge of this ring. But they actually have another squad walking up right behind them. That's going to be OG Street off the back of a nice pickup onto the last member of, I believe it was Esports, who, yeah, they now have 3 members, and that is rough. I mean, losing 1 member to a solo is not what you want to see.
Yeah, with 4 kills now, they're still not in the placement points because, well, teams are really respecting each other, trying to stay away from each other. As I say, that Virus Gaming, they run in towards RDZ. That's 1 player taken down, and they just run up on that one as clean as you like. The remaining 3 players are down the hill over there, and they might actually know. I mean, well, I can't think of an analogy to try and keep up that point, but there are so many fights going on now as the walls close in on these guys. They're trying to keep away from each other. OG Street are just going to be able to fire down on top of these 2 coming in towards the ring. They're not quite sure where they're coming from, so the glue walls actually go down at the wrong angle. 1 player left right of there is behind the time turner, but, well, it's just a tree now at this point, and Sad Boy's going to be taken down very quickly. Wow, quadra kill for Yandel, and that's the whole squad down.
Sad Boy going to feel even sadder after that one, as a Death Note getting completely eliminated from the map, and now 10 squads left as all of the squads have to squeeze their way in here. And there's a lot of squads that have spots, but they have to make sure they can defend them. Here we have a late rotate from RHLM, who we did see earlier, that's going to walk right on up to this other squad holding the building. There we see it, La Profecia, already with a building to hold. I don't think they saw them rotating in there, so not the punish we were expecting. And now that squad is actually just going to make their way right on around, completely underneath the noses of La Profecia, and it looks like a fight will probably break out here at some point, depending on how these teams choose to get into ring, because there is very little real estate now as we move into ring number 3, and we know how deadly rings 3 and 4 can be on this map.
Yeah, once again, Brasilia is one of those places where teams can really get caught up. There's so much cover. You're just kind of sat there. I mean, there's fights going on over the other side. Oh my god, look how many squads are moving in on this location. Oh, Virus Gaming, they've picked up on where the rest of these squads can be. SKB down the bottom of the hill, where there's smoke, there's fire. They come in towards this one, but it's not them we need to worry about at this point. We've got every squad going in towards this. I think this is Team Butcher who's raining down fire on top of these guys here. Oh, and that's a great first kill to move in, but there's so many left to deal with, and they don't know that there are 3 other squads behind the last players of this one.
Lots of squads and not so much cover. The grenades start to move in on this tower and does manage to pick up 1 member of Z4N. Judah going to pick them up, but Team Butchers now might get a little bit overconfident here. They know that they have a duo up on this tower. The grenades, they're a little bit lackluster, but it might not matter. They walk up. Trueno and the other member of Team Butcher now looking to pick up these kills quickly, and they do just that. 1 member going down, but going to get picked up just in time. The Virus Gaming does have shots on this entire fight, and look at this, Twiggy. 5 squads right on the edge, 6 squads right on the edge of this circle, including RDZ and Virus Gaming, who we know are willing to fight and willing to pick up kills, but the ring is coming in, and this is not going to be easy for anyone, as Harley's in the kill feed, picking up a kill. C7 Parita also picking up a kill. This is such a disaster for these late rotation teams, as Go also getting heavily punished for the rotation.
Yeah, that's God Esport that's going to be eliminated there. C7 is just going to finish them off on by the skin of their teeth. SKB, they have been found out by Virus Gaming there, so they're going to be out as well. 7 squads left to go, and 5 of them are right at the edge of the border here, trying to just fight for their location. Team Butcher's firing down on RDZ here, and that's going to be a lot of damage taken down, but no kills. But there's stuff going on everywhere. You can see, there we go, the first knockdown for Team Butcher here. They're just trying to find anything, but there's just enough cover for RDZ to stay alive. But all of these teams need to start moving quickly. The zone has revealed itself to be over towards the east there. Virus Gaming, they're trying to get some kills over towards Squad 2 here, and they're just surrounding everything. It's a masterclass from them, but everyone is in such a bad location right now.
Team Butcher profiting a lot from these edge teams that were just a little bit late on the draw, not expecting that many kills to be on this side. And now they have to make their rotation, but getting shot in the back in the process, and they're not going to get it for free. Already a member of Team Butcher is getting fully knocked down, and Client might be the next one on that list as RDZU make their way up on this hill. They have not that many glue walls to work with, honestly, at least from what we see with Reg. I wonder if the rest of their teammates have a little bit more to work with. But on the other side, we see this other squad, OG, picking up even more kills as they walk their way in. And now all of La Profecia making their way in as well. Virus Gaming going to do their absolute best to hold them out. And we know that they can fight these fights extremely well. They have great positioning up on this hill, so they won't be punished too harshly. And they can opt to walk up on this team, and they do just that. They pick up another kill, and now they're going to rain down on La Profecia with cross shots left and right. La Profecia is going to have an extremely rough time getting out of this hill.
Oh, there's a sniper shot straight to the head, but La Profecia, they fire back and take down Flauby as well. Oh my god, this is such a difficult location for both teams. Using every bit of cover they can find, but there isn't much on this hillside, and there's going to be absolutely none left. Team Butcher are the only ones with any whatsoever taking up a sniper's nest there, and outspread Virus Gaming as they try and get themselves some positional advantage over these last 4 squads that are in their way.
La Profecia living though, and they haven't been taken out quite yet, but right as I say that, that's going to be a triple kill for Virus Gaming as they walk their way on up to the hill, and they do get eliminated. RHLM on the other side getting eliminated as well, so there's 2 members down and 1 outside of ring that will not be picked up. Yandel going down to the ring, Prowler going down to the ring as well, and it might be even more members. Prowler's still living by the skin of their teeth. They're going to try and make their way in and commit a bunch of glue walls to get into this final position, but OG arguably with one of the better spots here as Flo from BG goes down, and they're still trying to defend their position from this other squad, but as they walk up behind them, they do lose 1 member, and now 2 members from OG versus 3 members of Virus Gaming, and they are doing everything that they can, taking down Harleys, and now a 2v2. They are going to get the res though with the time turner committed, and the rock goes down, and now a 3v2. Yandel going to do everything they can to defend this position, but Virus Gaming will rain down on this last member with grenades and time turners. Yandel holding it down so well though, and there's still a 1v1 to be, and just like that, Virus Gaming claimed the booyah for game number 4 in our last game on Purgatory.
Another brilliant game for Virus Gaming, but once again, I mean, that was a much closer game than the last one for sure, where they got 27 points, but I mean, that's so great for OG Street. They're going to be getting well away from that 6th location. And also La Profecia, who, right now, they have 10 points. They're in 3rd last place. So they're going to be profiting well off of coming 3rd in that, getting so many kills. They're going to be going well back up that one. So we're going to see a massive shuffle in the points towards this. 2 more games to go, 1 new map. And, well, I mean, Virus Gaming, they're going to be running away with it, but I'm excited to see how everyone else stacks up after that game.
Virus Gaming absolutely slayed out, but I'm making one note here, one note in my notebook, and that's for Yandel from OG, because wow, did they hold out for way longer than they realistically should have there, and it's going to show in the scoreline there. 13 kills for OG Street. Virus Gaming does take it with 24, not the blowout performance that we saw in game number 3 with 27, but still a huge margin that they're starting to develop in the top of the leaderboards. OG Street here with 22 points, and La Profecia the next closest with a 12-point deficit, Twiggy. That is huge. And there are actually Team Butcher, and I think that's the only squad, Team Butcher, that's in 3rd place in terms of points just in this lobby and just in this game. I mean, the score lines are getting so close, except for Virus Gaming, who has now put up a 21-point lead for 1st.
Yeah, but look at that. C7 Sport coming through from 7th. They've taken that 6th spot from SKB Clan after a 5-point deficit in that game. So that's massive for them. Keeping it close, RHLM official and RDZ official, very close over there. The top 3 well separated from each other, but OG Street Team Butcher doing incredibly well. But it's Virus Gaming that are well ahead of the pack. It looks like they're going to be coming out well on top. They're very happy with their location. I don't think it's possible for them to drop out of the top 6 whatsoever at this point. I mean, 40 points away from 6th, and that is more points than 6th has. So, I mean, absolutely. I mean, C7 Sport would have to drop, 20 points for both of the last games to even dethrone them, and they'd still be 6th then. So I think they can be pretty happy at this point. They can sit back, do whatever they want. But it's really in the middle of the pack that it's going to be exciting going forward.
Yeah, it would take a lot for these teams to get dethroned, but nothing's impossible here at the Free Fire Pro Series for North America. And we've seen the score lines, right? We've seen 27 points from Virus Gaming. We've seen 24 points from Virus Gaming. We've seen 24 points across the field. We've gotten to watch a couple of lobbies where 20 plus score lines are available on good games. So we're going to roll into lobby 5 next, where we'll get to check out how those score lines compare. And right there we see 23 Falcon with a 25-point game in game 1, but 61-point tie for first and second place. Invalidos and 23 Falcon popping off. And look at this top 6. There is a 2-point difference between Chernobyl Esports and first place. 54 for Team Money and 48 for our HR official. I think the biggest deficit actually might be slightly bigger from 5th to 6th, but that is such a close fight for the top 6.
Yeah, I think this is probably, right now, out of the lobbies that have completed 4 games, this is the lowest down number 6 we've seen so far. At 25 points, that is doable for any team in the bottom 6 right now. Absolutely any team can overtake them. Hooligans within 4 points, Overpriced within 5, Undertakers within 9, Japros for Life, who we saw doing quite well in the last week, only 13 points away, so it's very doable at this point. We're about to get into the game, so we will see how those bottom 6 stack up here, but it's really about that 6th space in the last 2 games here.
And rolling into Bermuda, we get to start our games on Bermuda. We get 2 of these. What a treat. And what a treat it has been to spectate these teams in the round of 96. We are seeing so many fantastic performances, so many breakout performances, and so many performances that we kind of expected. So we'll see if this continues, as the bottom 6 of this lobby are still very much in the game and still very much in contention to qualify for the round of 48.
Yep. Teams spreading all across the map. Once again, everybody being quite respectful of each other. We can see 2 teams right towards the middle, but everybody else, they're spreading out like the hours of a clock. No, well, here we go. No, there's 2 in the southeast. They're going to have a little bit of a fight here. I'll have to quickly check. I think that's Chernobyl Esports, and I think it's PFS Esports. PFS Esports, one of the teams that really wants to be getting back up into those point leads. On 11 points right now, they do need 14 to get back into the top 6, so getting these first 4 kills would be a massive advantage for them. But look, coming up behind them, Chernobyl Esports are just going to take down 2. They didn't hear him coming. He puts down the time turner, gets 2 kills for free, and I mean, it's already almost over now for PFS Esports, and that's got to be heartbreaking in the 5th game of the series.
That Chulo flank was kind of nice, I'm not going to lie. And PFS Esports left with, I believe, just 1 member that's going to try their absolute best to get away. But this building is not going to be enough of a barrier for Chernobyl and the rain of gunfire that they will deliver to Bucho. So that is going to be PFS Esports eliminated right off the rip. And that is just an awful way to start this game, because PFS is already on the lower half, already on the bottom of the lobby. Just in general, they needed to start their big games here, and that is not going to happen in our first game of Bermuda.
Yeah, we're seeing the storylines begin to shape themselves up at this point, as it's just getting more difficult and more difficult for these bottom teams to get back up into the contention. PFS Esports, they're going to be very much heartbroken over that, because it's going to make it so much more difficult to get into the top 6 in that last game. They're going to have to really, really go ham in that last one. But for everybody else, it's going to be nice for them to keep ahead of that one, especially for Chernobyl Esports, who, I mean, they were already within 2 points of that first place position. Now they're going to be sitting pretty well over 60 points after the end of this game.
I would be extremely happy if I were seeing that. Here we get to check out overpriced over on this southern side of the map, I believe, looking at team number 2. I'll have to figure out quickly who they are. Invalidos, I believe. And yeah, this might be another fight around Bullseye. And right now, it's this team that might have already looted the blue zone, which means that they are probably stacked in terms of weapons and in terms of glue walls. And it looks to be the case somewhat, though. I might expect a little bit more. It is early in the game, so we're going to see these teams continue to loot up, excuse me, as they walk their way into the next zone. But here in first zone, I think this might actually be the first time where we've seen 11 squads right off the bat with no survivors left standing on the squads that did lose members.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, you are completely right. That is interesting, isn't it? But yeah, no, it's still people staying well away from each other. And I mean, that is in part due to the amount of cover on this map. It does mean that you can just stay well out of view of other teams, even if you can't stay far away for them. So now everybody kitting up for the later stages of the game. We're going to start to see the ring coming in very soon, starting to push these teams closer together. But for now, it's all about just getting all of that, all of those resources ready, just making sure you're ready for that fight.
Absolutely. And we'll see where this ring pulls shortly. Factory, one of the most entertaining places, honestly, to watch a fight. And you get to check out HR Oficial making their way into the ring on this edge. 3 members for them, so it's a little bit unfortunate to see that here in the round of 96. You really need as much firepower as possible to cement your team in the top 6. But so far, they're not doing the worst. They are in 5th place as of game number 4, which is the kind of performance that you want to see, but you need to make sure that you keep it up and that you continue to take kills and take position in the lobby, because none of these teams are going to relent at any point until they know they are in the next round. And that's what's so wonderful about this format, is we get to see teams with a lot of opportunities to prove themselves time and time again, to make sure they get their shot at the group stage and hopefully towards the end of the season at the grand finals.
Now we're starting to see these tighter groupings coming around here. And we're seeing everybody run in. Hooligans is making their way towards HR Official here. And they're going to be running up on their location. HR Official only has 3 members coming into this one. They haven't lost a member. They just do not have their 4th member with them in this game. So it looks like we've got one player, Tero, here. He's scouting out the location of this house. Might have been able to hear somebody within there. Maybe not. Maybe just scouting everything out. Might not have seen anything yet. But it looks like drawing the rest of his team over towards him very soon is going to be happening as the ring closes in, ready to take this from Team HR Official.
And this is such a scary spot. It is really a sensitive affair to be just walking up to a team that you might know has the building already. So getting another position here that they think might work out a little bit better for them. But I mean, this member is completely split from the team. If HR Oficial catches wind of this somehow, they might just push down this one member. And I'm not exactly sure what the game plan is here. It's possible that they're going to wait for HR Oficial to make their rotation with the 3 members of Hooligans just holding down the top side, with one member shooting them in the back. And if that is the case, that is a very, very nice play that they were trying to set up here. But it's risky, and sometimes the risk can pay off. But I mean, who knows? I guess we'll see as the next round starts to close.
Yeah, and I mean, it's Chernobyl that are going to be flanking them past the electric station there very soon. So if they don't execute this plan quickly enough, it come back to bite them in their proverbial butts. So, I mean, well, it looks like our scout here, Tero, is actually moving even further away. Going to be moving to the other side of the ring here, towards the west of the map. It's actually going to see Team 23 Falcon, which is the most lethal team so far. 61 points in first place right now with 32 kills over the last 4 games. That's, well, 8 per game, just about. So that's a very scary location to be in. Not 8 per game. I'm slow today.
And Taro is definitely kind of overplaying his hand, I think. I'm not sure. Now I'm really confused as to what Hooligans is trying to accomplish with this push up. But I don't know if they know that Chernobyl is there, and I love that you pointed that out, because they might have thought that that entire south side of the map was clear for them to make this sort of aggressive gamble on whatever squads might be left on this side of the map. But if Chernobyl walks up on that trio of hooligans who's up on the hill, that could spell disaster for that team's placement very, very quickly. And 23 Falcon now walking into hangar, but we're going to get to watch another fight here as R4 going to do all that they can. I think that's the real army to defend this spot, but there is no cover for either team really, and 2 members already going down. I think they've traded out maybe 1 kill at this point. No, that's actually just 2 members of their squad going down to Toddy, and that is going to be Team 12 with Prince. And we saw Prince make some pretty wild plays towards the end of the round of 192 last week. So glad to see them performing once again as Japros for life, sort of just running over this real army squad who's going to have 1 member left. And here we see Chernobyl walking up to the squad. And this is exactly what we were talking about before. Wow, that was a quick movement there to try and defend there. And Chernobyl going to have to make this quick and clean. They choose to just walk on outside, maybe looking for some grenades to kick things off. And those are some beautiful grenades going under the buildings. The time turner is there. And just like that, Anthony taking down 1 member of HR, leaving just 2 left standing. The full thirst is there. And just 2 members left to try and defend this, but Soporte also going down in the process. And I think 1 member left going to try and make their way out, but they will not escape. And HR gets eliminated. A triple kill for Chulo, making that 7 kills for Chernobyl.
Yeah, and maybe, I mean, hooligans were well involved with those teams there at that point. You can see they're still up in that sniper tower watching down on that location. They let Chernobyl go all the way around them, engage with that team, and still are just sat there. So we could have seen another reality where they engaged in that fight. Chernobyl came in and wiped both squads. So I don't know, hooligans maybe just getting away with murder a bit there. They are only a couple points away from that 6th place. But now we're seeing fights going on all over the place. I mean, 23 Falcon is now engaged in that fight with our Team 6 here. I think that is Team Money, sorry, as they are getting in on this location. They've actually been taken by surprise a little bit. They're over towards the containers, but Team Money, they are just shooting down from the roof now.
And Team Money with a bit of a favorable position here. They do have the high ground up on 23 Falcon, who, as you said, might have just gotten snuck up on. And it's actually Speed, I believe, who is very, very low on health. But a big grenade, and that is a huge way to turn things around. 23 Falcon now going on the full offensive to take down this team. They do lose 1 member, and the glue walls are there with the time turners. We see this time and time again. Team Money now getting a bit of a cleaner fight. They do take down Minor. And now this has gotten so much worse from 23 Falcon. They do manage to take down 1 member, and now 1 member left for them to clutch it out. I don't know how many team members are left, but there's another squad shooting in the back now. And this is such a disaster. Maddie now the last man standing, but there it is. Japros for life trying to take a piece of this pie. But Team Money defending this effectively and probably going to take down Maddie for a wipe on 23 Falcon.
23 Falcon will be leaving the game with 1 point positionally for that performance, not managing to take down a single player of Team Money there. Weirdly, they had such a good location, but just didn't capitalize on those first 2 knocks. But it looks like Japros for Life, who I know has a lot of fans in chat, really trying to capitalize on, Team Money, who is still reeling from that last fight. They have 5 kills already. They're trying to make it 9 at this point. Down goes the glue wall as Eddie's going to have to move back and re-engage with his team here. They still have a full squad, so they can really push in, surround Team Money here, and move well in towards them. I think they know you're there, but still getting as close as possible, and it's just waiting for this first shot to be fired. Here we go. They're all firing out now, and 1 player from Japros for Life is going to be knocked down, but the trade comes out onto Eddie there. Prince trying to hold his location, but no, it's Japros for Life who's going to be completely eliminated by Team Money, who've now got away with 6 kills. They'll be very happy with themselves for that one.
That is ridiculous, and a little bit of disrespect on the back end, because truly Japros for Life overcommitted to that situation so heavily, and they're punished for it in probably the worst way possible, going out in 8th place. And now we see another member of TD who's going to go down in the process of trying to make their way in. Team Dominic, I believe, but they are going to take a member of Overpriced in the process, which is not too bad, but Overpriced now with a slightly better position, though all of these members are outside of ring, so they are fighting with health tick, and Mommy gonna go down, and 1 last member left of Team Dominique as a triple kill for Chernobyl Esports comes through. And I don't know where this team is going, but they just seem to walk into wherever they please and run over teams. A quadra kill for Anthony. They now have 11 kills, and they took out Hooligans earlier. It looks like their plan earlier just fell apart. Team Dominic taken out in 6, and now a straight up team fight, 4 versus 4. Chernobyl already losing 1 though, and that's going to be Chulo, who I believe was their fragger so far in the game. So they're going to try and heal up and use their glue walls, but this is 3 members of Team Money with a 4th one waiting in the wings, and the grenades are starting to fly, and the health bars are starting to drop for Chernobyl Esports.
It's such a war of attrition here as both teams just shoot shots at each other, trying to just break down each other's resources. Team Money are going to be able to get 1 knock onto Anti-Aero there, but they need to get more than that before he gets revived. Chernobyl is eliminated by Team Money in the end. Rubio managing to get 2 of those kills. The rest of his team is getting back on that, but that's big for Team Money because they were about 7 points off first place at this point. They're getting well up into there, but I will point out that Overpriced is still alive. They were one of the teams that was only 5 points away from 6th, and with Team Dominic eliminated now, only they need just a couple more kills and they'll be well into the top 6 at this point now. This is great for a couple of these teams.
And we have 4 squads left, 1 solo in the far north of the ring. We see they're the last member of Team Money, I believe, unless I didn't see. No, Real Team Money's down here, and Team Money might actually be picking up a couple more kills because we did see them knock down Overpriced. They still have a dangerous rotation to make happen here, and it's actually the members of Invalidos who probably have the best spot to punish all these rotations. So they do get traded out. Sebas goes down, and now they have to back on up, and that was so important for them to pick that up because Invalidos has a great spot to punish Team Money, and they need a way to get in. They need the breathing room here because they are caught far outside of what is likely the next zone. Actually, not quite, as the zone happens to pull to them, but all they have for cover is trees and glue walls. To again, we know how difficult it is to hold down a spot without cover.
Yeah, it's getting more and more difficult as well. I don't think Invalidos knows that Team Money is rotating, but Invalidos, they're rotating themselves. They will spot out Team Money, but no, that's not Invalidos, so they're shooting at Team Money. It's actually Overpriced who are getting involved now. And if they get 1 or 2 knocks here, that could be massive for them, but it's not going to be them that capitalize it. It's going to be Invalidos that move in on that location. Now Team Money, well weakened, sat up in this sniper's nest, and Invalidos are moving in from the other side. They're actually getting shot by Overpriced as well. Now it's Invalidos and Team Money that get well involved with each other. They're getting all over each other, trying to just take each other down. That's 1 knock. Rubio there down on the ground. Team Money trying to fire down from high ground, but it's Invalidos that come away with the most kills. They'll get 3 down, and they're just trying to get the last players now. Sebas, the last player of Invalidos, trying to get everything done for himself. Both teams are actually going to be able to get reses going as well.
And this is an absolute disaster here for Invalidos. They had such a great position, but 1 grenade is all it takes. And just like that, Invalidos finishes the fight in the blink of an eye. And now they have Overpriced to deal with up on the northern side of this circle. They have a couple more glue walls to try and recover. The duo of Overpriced now finishing off another member of Invalidos. And it's going to be 2 versus 2 versus 1. And if you are the lone straggler's survivor here, this might be your best shot at stealing the game.
Yeah, this is absolutely massive for them. They're well up on the hillside, well in the zone. I mean, all they need is a few points, but they're going to be coming away with, well, at least 8 at this point. That's massive. Well, actually, no, not at least 8, at least 13, which is well into the top 6. If they get a couple more kills here, this is massive for them. They're just trying to make sure they know exactly where every member of Invalidos is left. They only have 2 players left. Real Army, the last player of that squad, well up in the northwest over there, just trying to stay alive. And, I mean, they'll be able to capitalize well off this as well. They have 7 points at the moment, so they do need those positional points as much as possible. They're actually going to move in towards the ring, though, very early.
And this can actually be really frustrating if you are Overpriced or Invalidos, because you know there's 1 member left, and if you haven't spotted him, they could come out from anywhere, which is so dangerous. And as this package tumbles down the hill in the most comical way possible, we see the fight finally break out between Overpriced and Invalidos, and it looks like Real Army is going to get to walk in here for free with their last member, so they're going to wait out this fight, and this fight is going to be deadly. Sebas almost going down, but does manage to trade out first, and now Juan actually getting caught out, and Overpriced does not know what to do here. Their last member going to try everything that they can to clutch it out, but now 2 members of Overpriced, they finish off Shanks, and now there are 4 members left on Bermuda. Let's see who can clutch it out, as it is a 1v1v2. Invalidos finishing off the last member, or getting finished off, actually, the last member of Overpriced. And there is the trade. So Invalidos with 1 member left. It's a clean 1v1, and Real Army could take this, but the push isn't quite there. And there is the res. We're back to 2v1. Let's see if Juan can pull it out.
Oh, getting shot down to low HP there, and as Sebas moves in, it might just be this to finish it off. Throws the nade, but the time turner comes out. Juan is going to stay behind this, but the zone is moving in. He has to get out of there. No, Real Army eliminated, and it is going to be Invalidos with the booyah.
A big booyah there for Invalidos, and what a way to clutch it out. That was getting a little dangerous there for them. A couple of fights gone wrong, almost took them off of the map so much earlier on, but they managed to recover. They managed to clutch up and finish off the last couple of squads. What a win for Invalidos and that squad. They made so many fantastic rotations, so many fantastic gunfights that they just clutched out enough to take the booyah in game number 5.
But as much as the story is all about these teams that came at the end there, and these teams at the top, the ones with 61 points, the ones with 59 points, the real people that I'm really excited to see where they're coming after this is Overpriced and Real Army, both of which got into the top 3 of that game, and both of which are in the bottom 6 of the lobby right now. They need to get those points, and I think Overpriced are going to be well into that top 6 at this point. They're going to be contesting for 5th around here, so it's Team Dominic that are going to be losing out on that game quite sorely, and Real Army that are going to get a nice head start in this last game.
And again, it's so important that every team knows to never give up. Even if you're 1 member down, it feels like you might be out, but you are not. And Real Army really putting it on display there. And that's exactly right. The teams that we really want to watch are the teams that are near that middle of the pack zone, where they're just off of a qualifying spot and they have 2 games to prove that they have what it takes to move on to the round of 48. So we'll be getting the scores here shortly for game number 5. But yeah, that was a huge game for Overpriced. Pros for Life picked up a couple of kills here and there, but Real Army, who is sitting in dead last now, picking up at the very least the placement points and maybe 1 KP. I don't know if they managed to sneak it in there, but that is still a really big game, as the bottom 6 is really close, and all it takes is 1 breakout game to get into the top 6. So as we wait for those scores, Twiggy, we need to talk about oh my goodness, it's Chernobyl Esports absolutely farmed the front end of that entire sort of game and fell short off of 1 bad fight. Tell me about what you think about these mid-game fights that end up just kind of destroying the game plan for a lot of these squads.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of that loss of inhibitions. You know, you're probably already quite safe. These teams will be kind of counting their own points, keeping track of where they are in the leaderboard. They'll know that, I mean, they've been consistently getting 16, 16, 22, although they got 5 in the 4th game. They know they're on a lot of points at this point in the game, and I think they know that they can kind of get away with whatever they want. So they're just running around. They don't really care what happens, and look at that, 11 kills. They'll get 17 points in that game. Team Money with the same amount, but coming 4th, they'll get 18. But look at that. I mean, Real Army, 9 points. Overpriced, 13 points. If I quickly add those up here, Overpriced is now on 33, and they are in 6th place, 1 point ahead of Team Dominic. We'll be able to get to see that on the leaderboard very soon, but that is such a close game. There we are, Overpriced 1 point into 6th.
And talk about teams that are still in contention, right? Even though Overpriced is just sneaking in, now it's all about the holdout. You cannot have a 0-point performance because Team Dominic, Hooligans, and even Undertakers, Pros for Life, who we know has Prince, who is a breakout player who can have big games, big kill games, and Real Army as well, who just managed to clutch up a game that once again putting them in contention, They have 1 big game that they need here. And if Overpriced underperforms in any way in game 6, this could fall apart for them, and they are hanging on by a thread, Twiggy, as we roll into game number 6 here in a bit. They are having to think about what they need to do to make sure that they stay in the top 6, because all it takes is 1 bad game.
Yeah, but I think we can see, looking at their kill count, that they've been playing incredibly smart. The first 3 games, not good performances for them, but the last 2, 13 points, and they've only got 13 kills overall. So most of those points have come from positional placements. They've made a conscious decision in that little 15-minute break in the middle to go, okay, if we lose members, we're just going to sit back and wait until we're in that top 3 and then try and get those kills at the end of the game. And it's been working out brilliantly for them so far. So I think maybe they just have that strategic advantage that might go into this next game and keep them in that top 6.
And Chernobyl Esports an absolute menace, so they have to watch out for that as well. Maybe now is the time where you start paying more attention to the kill feed, because if you know there are shots fired near you and Chernobyl's the one picking up those kills, you might want to make your way to the other opposite side of Bermuda, because it's not the biggest map, right? We know that Kalahari is kind of the biggest and most open one here, but we still see how deadly those zones can be as we get into the 3rd and 4th ring. Those get so populated, and if you're early in the ring, you are still not safe, because all the squads that are fighting behind you, if you cannot fend off every single one that is coming for your spot, whether it be a building or whether it be, a favorable hill with some height, you are never safe. We saw that Hooligans there got absolutely dismantled after what was honestly a really strange play with one split push way on the other side of the map, and Chernobyl was easily able to just walk up this hill and take them out as we were watching another fight. So the strategy here has to come into play. You have to start thinking about what small decisions you can make to make sure that you stay in the top 6.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we're not going to be watching that exciting conclusion for that lobby. You will be able to see the results of that at the end of the stream, but we're going to be moving to lobby 3 for this one, which I think has just about as exciting of a middle ground here as the last couple here. R15 Official have 47 points, got 0 in their last game, and FS Sport, they're making their way up. 17 points in the last game, and they only need 11 to take over R15 Official.
And shout out to Ozark Esport, because we know that we love to see teams that have big breakout games, right? We see them littered throughout this leaderboard. Ozark had a big game 1. R15 had a big game 2. I believe the highest scoring was Global Gaming Gang, in game 3, 24 points in game 4 for Blackhawks and 24 for Warrior Esport in the last game. But look at how far Ozark is ahead, and it's by those incremental performances. Even though they didn't win any of the lobbies after game 1, they are still at the top with a 23-point lead over Holy Warrior.
Yeah, this is such an incredible lobby right now, because not only is it relatively tightly packed towards the top 2, 3, 4, they're all in very similar locations, even 5 and 6. Anybody could be dethroned here. FS Sport, they're definitely within 23 points of getting second. So Holy Warrior could even be dethroned in this game if they have a bad game. And some of these top 6 teams have been dropping down closer to that 0-point range. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a big shuffle here.
Beautiful look there at Clock Tower as well. And we'll get right into it, and we get to see our final game of the day, sadly, but we will get to watch one more piece of action from the Free Fire North America Pro Series round of 96. And here we go, our last look at Bermuda, and possibly our last look at a lot of these teams that might not end up qualifying for the round of 48.
Yeah, and as they drop across the map, it's really going to be down to a lot of these drop locations. You can see Ozark very, very close here, and that's the top team over towards OF, which I assume is I can't tell. Honestly, I can't, but whoever is getting taken out here, look at this, it's very quick as well. Oh, Mocker's already down, and that's massive for Ozark, and really, really bad. I think that's Team Hacks, who actually, they're within just 12 points, I think, somewhere around there. No, 18 points of 6th place. So this could be really, really a death sentence for Team Hack here. If they get taken down at this stage in the game, it's over for them.
And it looks like it might not be enough for them if they can't get out of the situation. And they are able to trade out 1. But again, Ozark's so proficient at playing close and playing their cover. They keep picking up the 1 member that Team Hacks is able to take down. So just like that, they're down to 2 members. And I think they might have overcommitted to this a little bit, because now we see R15 maybe looking for a piece of this. They are doing their best to rain down fire on this other squad, but now they are sandwiched between them. And Bestia actually getting taken out from across the way by Ozark. Ozark just happened to pick up every weapon that they needed to make this play happen. So now R15 maybe choosing to back out of this one for now, though if they know Ozark is across the way, it might be the time for them to walk up and take them out.
Yeah, Team Hack only with one player left here. King on top of the scaffolding. If he cannot get his way out of this, it's going to spell the end for Team Hack. They will not be making it into the round of 48. So it's Ozark who are going to be trying to take that one out. I mean, they're sitting pretty on 83 points. They don't need to do anything now, but they've already spelled disaster for Team Hack in this round. It's King. I think they might just leave them alive, play with their food a little bit.
And yeah, that might be the case here, but R15 cannot just throw this one away. They are right in that bubble that we've said. If they underperform and another team below them pops off, that could spell the end of their tournament run. We're going to check out now WRS, who I think almost got involved in a bit of a scuffle there, but manages to hold down Mars Electric on the far south side of the map. Meanwhile, we actually get to watch RHLM looking down on squad number 5. I believe that is going to be Dream Team, maybe, possibly. And it looks like they're holding it down for now. It's actually NTH who is up here, not Team Hacks, which is completely not confusing when we have Team Hacks, though we might not have them for very long as they're facing down Ozark and R15. But for now, Team Not Hacks holding it out. I believe 3 members strong, so not quite the 4-man that they want to try and fight off the squad just down the hill.
Yeah, I think we're looking at Team Tiger Girls here. I'm not 100% sure about that, but with the TG at the end of the name, I'm going to assume so. But oh, wow, I thought they really waited out that one. Just wait for it. I mean, their name is One Shot, so it makes sense. There it is, finishing it off with a second. That's a lovely kill there for One Shot. Oh no. Oh god, down goes Team Tiger Girls there as Rainer is going to be taken out. And that's a difficult situation as well, because they are one of the teams that's looking to get into that top 6 spot.
Yeah, and that is not a great situation for them. And right now, it's a great situation for Dream Team up on height. Meanwhile, we can see in the kill feed that actually Juanpa got taken out. So it might be the time now for R15 to start this fight off. But yep, Tiger Girl's going to make their way on out of here. And yeah, here we see the fight slowly starting to break out. One member of this team going down. R15 has to recover this quickly and make sure that they recover, but Flacco's still down on the other side, and they did pick up their members, so Ozark now might have to back away, and this might be the strategic play they have to make sure they stay near the top. But R15 very happy with this pickup. They managed to take out one member of easily the strongest team in the lobby on their way to try and qualify for the round of 48.
Yeah, and every kill they get at this point is so important to them because they're holding on to that 6th position. They're trying to gatekeep all of those teams that are lower down on the leaderboard than them from getting into that spot. And it's so important for them to keep on to that one because no matter where you come, if you're in the top 6, you've already made your way through, but it's fights that go out on the other side of the map here. And oh my god, that's so many casualties as Block. He's going to become the new kill leader from Not Hacks. Massive for them. Oh, but here comes One Shot again. No, he won't be able to take out Block. Oh, that's unfortunate for them. And I think that's Dream Team that is just holding on by a thread here with One Shot. The scout of the team who left the rest of his team. Oh no, he's managed to see one on top of the hill. Gonna have to run away from that position.
And likely getting sandwiched here soon. Dream Team getting punished so heavily for hunting for the last members of Tiger Girls. I don't know if they got them all, but now in a bit of a dire situation, and both teams actually not feeling too happy about their total player count. And it looks like Block does not have any meds to speak of. They have not healed up at all. So this is actually a closer fight than One Shot might know. But the grenade is there from Block, and oh my goodness, that was perfect from Not Hacks, and they will move on out of this, not with all of their teammates, but definitely the pride of that grenade.
Yeah, and although Not Hacks are very far away from that 6th spot, it's not likely that they're going to be able to get up into that. They have just made Dream Team the first team to be definitively eliminated from the tournament this stage. They are now not getting through to the round of 48.
King's
Oh
still
my God.
alive. King's still alive.
King
All
is
these
still, he's
rounds.
still in the exact same location that he was before. Oh my God, has R15 actually seen him? I think they're trying to get in a good place to be able to take him out. I think Bestia missed a little bit there, just a little bit, but they think they might know where he is. They're all
And this
aiming at
is
that location.
so funky. You're getting to watch these launch pads getting utilized. So King here, using that Wukong Shroud. I don't exactly remember the name of that, but hiding out for now. I think they knew where he was, but they're just opting to get position on the ring here, possibly looking towards an emptier side of Graveyard to hopefully make their way in as this ring starts to close. And King getting away with it for right now, and they absolutely need that because that squad got almost entirely wiped by Ozark earlier on. So every point that they can pick up is a point that counts.
Yeah, still every other team is in contention at this point. It is possible to get into the top 6 for these bottom teams still. So just moving in towards each other here, but everybody is being incredibly cautious, trying to just stay alive at this point. Here we go. Shots fired from FS Sport down on top of Team 10 here, who I can't quite see the names of because they're so far away. So Hori trying to put out the damage. It's not quite going to land too many shots, so they'll stay alive, but they're within the ring now, which is moving in.
Oh, and here we see them again, and they do have a sniper to work with. I don't know if Sahori has figured out who is out in the ring quite yet or whether they can finish these off, but I'm going to whip out the katana, reduce the aggression a little bit, and start to make their way into the ring. And as this ring closes, we still have 11 squads up. We get another look here at DFW Daniel and his crew, who also needs to make their way into ring and is going to have WRS to contend with at the top of this hill.
Yeah. I mean, it's just slowed down so much towards this kind of end of the mid game here. We've still got 11 teams alive at this point. Everybody, I mean, they get that close to the bottom. Maybe they have 1 or 2 members alive, and you suddenly think, I don't want to lose now. We're just going to sit away from everybody and make sure that we're not going to lose. And it just means that everybody is respecting each other so much, staying away from each other. Even the teams that are in 5th, 4th, 3rd place, they don't want to engage with anybody just in case somebody comes back from the dead in the bottom half of that leaderboard, comes back up and takes their spot. So we're just seeing everybody rotate.
Most definitely. Warriors Esports also one of those teams that needs to make sure they have a very solid game, because we already saw FS Sport. I believe they might have had 1 kill point to their name as they made the rotation, and they have a decent position here over to the far east of the map towards Keratin. And if they make their way into a later ring and start to pick up kills, they could very well take one of these squads out that is in that 6th or even 5th place position. So R15 and Warriors have to hold it down and have to have a big game. I mean, even Blackhawks, who is just outside of that range as well, could be losing their spot if enough teams perform and if Warriors and R15 also have big games. So it is so close, man. And it's going to get even closer because Ozark is no longer a 4-stack just raining down the terror of the Ozark squad on the entirety of Bermuda.
And I don't think they've noticed that a squad is coming up towards them here. Still just hiding out in this house. There we go. They've seen him. And now the fight is probably going to come. No. Wait, they don't know that Ozark are within this house. Not yet, at least. Unless they listen out for it. Joel here is the closest one. Nope. Going to opt to just run away from that one. And I think Ozark are happy to sit back. I mean, they could engage in this one. They're well away in the top spot, so they probably could. But they really want all of the points they can. They just want to keep that monopoly hold.
And here we see them. The squad is going to be TDE, I believe is. I don't think that's Team Dreams. That might be Team Not Hack. I'm not exactly sure, but yeah, they are making their way in here, and they just skirt the duo of Osaka, which again, or excuse me, Ozark. Getting all the top teams confused already. But Ozark here able to defend this position from now, not getting pushed by the full 4-stack. And honestly, knowing that squad, you're never safe against Ozark. If they chose to push that, everything could fall apart for them. So unfortunately, no more bloodshed here as Blackhawks moving their way in as well. They won't be too contested, but they do have squad 10 to look at on the other side, and that is going to be 80 and his group just holding down this ruin, which isn't honestly the greatest cover, and we might see Blackhawks getting aggressive here.
Yeah, I think Blackhawks moved in on that location. I think it's Team Tiger Girls just realized that they'd come in on that location and went, oh no, we need to hide. We've only got 2 players left. What's the cover we have? Sit behind there. But look at this. Teams fighting out across the map once again. And I think these are some of the teams that are really in contention to try and get back into the game here. So it's really going to heat up now. The zone is moving in. 11 squads still remain. The game has been going on for 12 minutes now, and we're still just looking at these fights ring out.
A lot of teams worse for wear, though. 11 squads, we would expect 44 players, but we're actually down to 36. And possibly make that 35 here as Warriors finding a nice grenade onto a member of Not Hacks. And just like that, it is all she wrote for Team Not Hacks. And unfortunate for them finishing it off in 11th place. That is not what you want to see, especially with where they're sitting in the leaderboard. I think that'll cleanly take them out of contention for the round of 48.
Yeah, well, 2 teams completely out at this point. We're just waiting on more fights to happen. R15, here they come, trying to take down this team inside here. That's Warriors that they are aggressing on at this point. Took down 1, but not getting the kill on that, just a knock. They're starting to surround this house, and that's going to be a lovely shot right to the back of the head of Verza there. They'll take everybody out at this point, and Warriors is almost down. Kill just trying to move in on this location, but Decathy is just going to sit inside there as his team comes to his rescue. Here comes Bestie around the side, and that will take out Kill. 1 more member, Aguila, round the back of the other house. Running away at this point. Warriors, they need to hold on to those points. They're at 49. That's only 2 points ahead of R15. So R15 are looking to take that 5th spot from them.
And right as we see one of those gatekeeping 5th, 6th place teams getting absolutely decimated, we see Blackhawks continue to pick up kill points in the kill feed, which is huge. And there it is, the FFW finishing off another squad. And that is all she wrote for Warriors Esports as well, finishing in 9th. While Team TG, I believe that's going to be Tiger Girls, possibly the last members of that team, also getting taken out. So just like that, this has gotten even closer, Twiggy.
Yep, Team Tiger Girls, I'm pretty sure now, is also completely out of contention for the round of 48. We've still got, oh wow, 9 teams left in contention. Still trying to get everything going. Look at this fight on the bridge as they move in. Joel is going to be taken out. I don't think there's any way he's surviving that one, but Ramon is going to be taken out by a grenade now. Just sitting inside here, Doble just trying to get away now. The time turners are committed as he runs away from the rest of these teams. Oh my god, look at this.
And what a turnaround. Holy Warrior gets absolutely dismantled by the squad that they had to push on the bridge. And one member left standing of this squad is going to be Doble HYT, who has to now hold it down and continue to pick up these kills. And we keep seeing Blackhawk in the kill feed, Twiggy, which means that with this performance, they could sneak into that top 6. That is huge for them. And it's actually GG walking up on the backside. It's going to be Global Gaming, who's going to look down on the last member of the squad up on the bridge. And meanwhile, Team Hacks also getting taken out in 7th, which is, again, another team that really needed to perform, and I don't think they were cut out for the top 6. And Blackhawk continues to rain down gunfire on Ozark, finishing off Danger, the last member of Ozark. So now we're already down to 5 squads as R15 finds a fight on this tower.
Yeah, we're still waiting for a lot of these teams to see exactly where they'll come. We're seeing now the final squads move in towards this location. Darren being fired down upon by Zero here. Not going to find the shots to get the knock, but ooh, return fire is going to have to make him head towards the other side where, I mean, Blackhawks, they're moving in and they've been lethal so far. If they move in on this location and R15 aren't ready for it, it's going to spell disaster for them.
And already R15 choosing a very, very nice position to make sure they can continue to punish these teams on the edge of circle. There goes the drone. They're going to get a little bit of information here. But look at how crowded this circle is, Twiggy. This is going to be a mess of gunfire and grenades. R15 already taking a lot of damage from Blackhawks. And Black Ops are the great position here to possibly take out this squad if they can find one good grenade. And that might be the one. And there it is. That is going to be 2 knocks for DFW Daniel and his crew, and now they are moving in to finish this off, but they get shot in the back, and that is not an optimal situation here as R15 doing a fantastic job to defend this, and they need to make sure they keep all of their members alive if possible. The glue walls are going down. Sensei is picked up. DFW Daniel also picked up. No casualties quite yet, but oh my goodness, Blackhawks almost falling apart there.
Yeah, wow, R15 really threw it back in their faces after that grenade that took out one player, but here they come, the fire raining down on top of Global Gang, actually, who's trying to move in and take advantage of these two teams. Wow, but they're going to be completely falling away after that. That's one player downed, one player killed. And they'll have to try and regain control of that. Oh my god, here comes the third party, though. I'm not quite sure which team this is, but they're moving in and just taking everyone out.
And that's FS, who does need a big game here. They are in 7th place, and they need to make sure they clutch this out. They have 5 kills to their name. If they can get a big win here, that could mean their qualifying spot. But the team that they have to take out is R15. So they need to make sure they eliminate this team quicker than later. And R15 here on the defensive doing such a good job of keeping this position. Global Gaming trying to find shots across the way. The last member of BC, which we saw earlier on the bridge, also still alive, and it might be a problem for all of these squads as this ring closes. And there we go, 3 seconds left before this all turns to a last ring situation as Damiruk goes down.
That's heartbreaking, being taken down by the R15 players as well. If they move in and start to get more kills as well, it's going to be impossible to overtake them for that 6th spot. It's a 10-point deficit already, and they're just holding on to this as much as they can. Global Gang is eliminated there by the one player here who's moving in towards these 3, but in comes the killing spree from Zero. He'll move around and try and get more kills coming out for R15 here, but it's R15 that are eliminated, and what? The Booyah went to... Wait, who was that? What?
Oh my goodness. And the Booyah going over to the only squad that we did not talk about there at all. The last member standing, Team Dreams, clutch it out. What a Booyah. I got to say it again because that was so impressive. And just like that, they steal the game away from both R15 and Blackhawks. What a performance for game number 6.
I genuinely do not know what is going to happen to this leaderboard at this point. We've got 3 teams from the bottom 6 that are making their way up into the top here. So Team Dreams, they managed to get the Booyah, which is 12 points plus another amount. 17. They're not going to be able to get up into it just about, even with the Booyah at the end there. FS Sport, though, getting 16. They're just missing out on the top 6, I think. I think Warriors Esports has been able to just about hold on to this, even though they came 9th in this one. Here we go. We're going to be able to see it. R15 Official moves up into 2nd place, but I think this is the exact same top 6 that we saw before the start of this game.
FS Sport, 1 kill away, 1 placement away, and it looks like Team Dreams crushing the dreams of FS Sport. That is so unfortunate because with the tiebreaker rules, they did get the same amount of points, but Warriors Esport just clutches it out. That game 5 performance, barely enough to keep them in the top 6. That is heartbreaking, but what a performance from all of these teams.
Absolutely. I mean, even the teams that didn't come into the top 6 at this point, FS Sport had an incredible game that time. I mean, they drew in some ways with number 6 Warriors Esport, even though they lost out to that kill count. They got 53 points. They should be incredibly proud of themselves. Team Dreams, who up until this point only had, what, how many points is that? That's 12 points. They just got a Booyah with 17 points there, 10 kills overall. That's incredible from them, even if they're not getting into the next round. Absolutely brilliant from every team that participated at this point, and I don't think anybody here can be leaving and going, we did terribly, we're not going to keep competing in this. Sign up for the next one, because if it's that close every time we get into the round of 96, it's going to be incredible to watch.
And Ozark head and shoulders above the rest for this lobby, but man, that middle of the pack was so close, and that's exactly what I expected from these games because everyone came to play. Everyone tried to stake their claim to the round of 48, but only 6 can move on for these from each of these lobbies, and that's just how it goes. And you said it best, Twiggy. We need to wait to see what these teams do because as they start to develop, they are going to come back with an absolute vengeance, and I cannot imagine what they're going to do. Here we get to check out lobby 1, and we get to check out all the lobbies here at the end of the day as game number 6 is ended. And oh my goodness, DN Sports, what did they feed these kids? Because 29 points in game number 6, that is foul.
53 kills over 6 games. Well, that is 9 kills every. That's incredible. That's absolutely incredible from these guys. And I mean everybody who got through at this point. Look how close that middle of the pack is. 52, 51, 50, 48. Another team that's missing out by a hair's breadth. Infernum, who got 20 points in the first game. It just goes to show how it can all go downhill so quickly.
I mean, look at Infernum. Only 2 points off of S4 Family, who managed to qualify, and DA with only 1 point above them and less kills. So in a tiebreaker scenario, they end up losing to Infernum if they pick up extra points. I mean, this has been like a photo finish. It's been so ridiculously close all throughout. Again, we are seeing some of these blowout teams that we're going to expect, hopefully in the group stages like DN Sports. But I mean, it's so impressive to see this. What a showing from NA Free Fire. This is exactly what I am here to watch. And this is the group of players, and this is the group of teams that we expect to see in the scene. We see a lot of returning members. We're going to check out lobby 2 here, who does have some of those other breakout teams. Fuego, 96 points in first.
My. And another 6th and 7th on the same amount of points, separated by kills at this point. 45 for both Lord Kill Esport and Empire FF. And it's Lord Kill Esport who are going to be moving into the next round. But again, Fuego with 96 points. Northblood, Campo, Big Drip, 904 Official, and Lord Kill are going to be moving into the next round. Look at these teams that we had touted as some of the best teams coming into this stage. 50 Zenzo, Northside coming 10th and 11th. It just goes to show how close the competition is here.
And a 24-point gap from last place to qualifying. I mean, look at the game 6 that Fuego had. That's it right there. If you have that game and they don't, you qualify. I mean, it is just that close. But Fuego, again, another squad. We saw this a little bit earlier, I believe, in lobby 8, where Fuego didn't actually have their big breakout game, their big, just sweep of the map of Bermuda until game 6 with a 26-point performance. But just throughout the entirety of the day, they managed to put up double-digit point scores to put themselves in first and cement their place into the next round. Those are just really impressive scorelines and the consistency that you need to see from the top teams.
Yeah. Absolutely brilliant once again. That's lobby 2. Still got another 4 lobbies to get through. Keep in mind, only a quarter of these teams are even going to be making it to the group stage, let alone the grand finals with 12 teams in contention. Here's lobby 3. We're going to see Ozark Esport at the top with 90 points. That is 22 points, well ahead of R15 Official. We just saw this earlier once again. Black Quartz Global Gang, Holy Warrior, and Warriors Esport that are going to be moving through. And again, such a close lobby.
Yeah, such a close lobby indeed. And it is just, again, it's heartbreaking, but it's so exciting at the same time because the competition that we get to watch is so close. Look at this lobby. I mean, again, 2 points, 1 point separating 6th from 7th, exactly 1 point. And actually, Forgotten Ones would have won the tiebreaker. But look at game number 6. I mean, these teams knew what they had to do, but they were just off the mark. If GZ has 1 point less, if they get 1 placement point off of where they finished in game 6, that's Forgotten Ones moving on to the next stage. Blacklist just 2 points off of that. I mean, we're going to tout this for the next few minutes because it is absolutely ridiculous. But again, also have to give a big shout out to Club 90 who are showing up and having these huge games. I mean, in terms of blowout performances, I think this lobby might be the most top heavy, with Club 90 and La ONU dominating from the beginning, 24, 26, and 26 in games 2, 3, and 5 respectively. I mean, that is a crazy scoreline to hold down.
Let's keep in mind, they were 3rd from bottom. They were 10th after the first game, Club 90, and still came forward to not only get 112 points to win the lobby by over 20 points, actually 29 points even, they won the lobby by. That's incredible with a first game of 2 points. They went from 10th to 1st in the space of just a couple games. And everything is to play for every game. We're going to see this more and more as we go through the qualifiers.
And I love this opportunity to look at all the lobbies that are going to move on to the next round, because I'm already making a list of the squads that I'm hoping to see in group stage. I mean, we got the Ozarks, Club 9D, La ONU, DN Fuego, like those top of the line teams that are probably already eyeing that prize money in the top 12. I mean, these squads are performing so well, and the rest of the top 6 is going to have to prove that they also belong here, that they also have what it takes to earn their spot to fight for the money. Here we see Invalidos E, 99 points. This actually a little bit closer than the other lobbies, still quite top heavy with some of the other big names, Chernobyl Esports and Team Money in 2nd and 3rd respectively.
But look at that, 38 to 23 between 6th and 11th. And keep in mind, Japros for life here, who had such, I'm not going to say awful, but they had such an unfortunate performance from games 1 to 5. 19 points in the last game, overtook 5 teams from 11th to 6th in the last game.
I'm curious to know if we could maybe look at the scorelines of game 6 for this lobby, because that performance is ridiculous. They tied with Invalidos in the top scorers of that lobby in game 6, and here we get to see it. They actually managed to win the lobby in Invalidos, but Japros for life picked up 13 kills. I mean, that is so sick. That is the exact storyline that you love to see for a last minute qualification. It was like Japros really needed to pull it out from the depths of whatever bag of tricks that they still held onto, because it seemed like they weren't even close to qualifying.
Yeah, they were not. They were 10th before this last game. 10th in the lobby. And I cannot believe that. Getting 19 points in the last game, overtaking 4 teams to get up into 6th and just about qualify by 2 points. That is unbelievable from them. I don't know if that was planned. Maybe they just wanted to go easy on everybody until the last game and then just sweep the lobby. But either way, that is unbelievable.
Yeah, Prince and the squad really just pulling it together. Now we get to check out Lobby 6. We've got 3 more to go, so make sure you keep your eyes on these scoreboards, because IT Official, the ones that won out on this lobby with 90 points. But again, another lobby that was a little bit closer, not nearly as top heavy. 2 teams with 49 points in 5th and 6th, and then 44, 43, 39. I mean, what a showing from Gersh, Savage, Void, and everyone below that. I mean, another one where we had another lobby where we had every single team showing up, and Deporte X was literally 26 points off of qualifying. That's one big game.
Yeah, there is not a single team in this lobby that did not end with without a double digits game. Everybody in this lobby got a double digits game at some point on any of those. That is incredible that everybody in this lobby came into each game and actually performed well in at least one map. It's just brilliant.
That's absolutely brilliant and absolutely mental. I keep saying it because it is so ridiculous. I mean, these squads are separated by a hair. That is literally one team fight loss. That is literally one bad ring position loss where they qualified versus not qualified. I mean, that's all it takes. And as we roll into lobby number 7 here, we get to watch another extremely top heavy blowout from Virus Gaming. Oh my goodness, what were they doing to the rest of these teams?
Yeah, and another, look, 11 points between 4th and 8th here, 41 to 52. That's another incredibly close couple teams there that just about missed out on it. Esports, RHLM, just missing out on those qualification places. Not quite as close between 6th and 7th, but just in general, it's another one where even though you had the top team with 127 points, almost doubling the amount of points that Team Butcher had, that is, 5 points away from doubling what Team Butcher had? Absolutely incredible, by the way. Even though you have one team taking so many points away from everybody else, it's still close in the middle. And the bottom team still has 17 points, which is not unrespectful.
Yeah, absolutely. And look at RHLM, who actually managed to get knocked off. I think we were seeing them do pretty well earlier on, but still kind of in that bubble scenario. And SKB off of one game, again, another big performance, much like Japros, managed to pull it out for 12 points. And I don't know if we can look at this leaderboard as well for the end of the game, because that is the all that, like, look at how close that had to be for them to get third place and 4 kills. They managed to beat out Esports, Death Note, and C7, and unfortunately RHLM dropping probably one of the worst games of their entire qualifying run to get knocked out. That is insane, and that is incredible work and incredible mentality from SKB to know that they have to pull it out, and they did exactly that. What a showing from that squad.
Yeah, and we don't talk about it enough, but there's this expectation of us that people are just going to be as, like, you know, every team, this team is this good and this team is this good. It's not just how that works. There's momentum that comes into it. There's this mentality that you have to keep up. We've been going for almost 4 hours at this point. These teams must be starting to get exhausted towards Game 6. And if you can keep up that full speed, freight train momentum all the way to Game 6, that's a mentality that is just incredibly impressive.
And it's really going to show as we move into the group stage, because in the group stage, it's not just about, you know, 1 day or 2 days of qualifiers or 4 days of qualifiers. They're going to have to grind it out for 3 weeks to earn their spot into the grand final or into the last chance qualifier. I mean, just the mental fortitude that it's going to require from every one of these squads is absolutely massive. And we're already seeing which squads are going to show up and do just that. Those squads that are down and just off the cusp, coming through with just the performance that they needed in the last game. I mean, talk about clutch factor, Twiggy. That is so exciting.
Yeah, incredibly exciting to see. We're going to look at Lobby 8 now. We're going to see exactly who got through there, and another incredibly close lobby. It's Osaka that come away with the win on that one. Incredibly consistent performances. Game 1 with 0, but managing to get almost 20 points in every game consequently. And look at this, again, really close in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, and look at Winners and Fox Gaming. They both had fantastic game 6s, but it was just not enough. And Trinitarios with 6 points to just discern themselves from the 6th place, and Tijuana just clutch out 3. I mean, it is incredibly tight. This race was, again, a photo finish. No one got away without picking up a couple of points and fighting it out the best they can. WXX Esport in 12th place, with 14 points. They still made a lot of things happen in a couple of the games, but again, just a couple of bad drops are really what ends up telling the tale of the tape for them. It's so close, and Osaka did come out on top. Got a shout out Osaka. I mean, they're one of those teams that we expected to perform, and here they are at the top of the leaderboard. But shout out to every other team that participated, because this race was so close.
Yeah, and that's it. We've just taken a look at absolutely every team that participated in the round of 96. We've got our next 48 players 48 teams, who will be moving into the round of 48. Absolutely incredibly well played from all of those teams. Commiserations to the bottom 48 teams. All of you played incredibly. I can see how well and how much effort you put into this one just by looking at the leaderboards. And please sign up for the next event, because if it's as close as this one, it's just going to be such a pleasure to watch.
And we're going to be 24 teams strong by the end of this weekend. I mean, that is incredible, right? Because these teams are all having great performances now, but just after tomorrow, we're going to be down to half of that. I mean, round of 48 tomorrow to cut down half of the field once again. It is brutal out here, and every team is going to have to absolutely bring their A game and bring out every single trick that they can pull out of the bag to try and topple the other squads that are also fighting for their spot in the group stage. It is just absolutely an incredible situation to be in. Free Fire Esports is so exciting, and I've had an absolute blast getting to watch these teams develop and play and honestly crush the competition.
Yeah, and it's been an absolute honor casting with you, Melacrit, and obviously thank you to our production once again, doing absolutely incredibly well. The observers doing absolutely brilliantly, keeping us up with the action. So thank you to everybody, and I mean, well, that's it for us for the round of 96. We will see you again for the round of 48. But thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for supporting this. Thanks for signing up and playing and being a part of the Free Fire NA community. You've all been lovely, and we'll see you again next time. Goodbye.
glaze on the D-roll. Pulling up, smoking haze through the back door. We get that fresh glaze on the D-roll. Pulling up, smoking haze for days. We get that fresh glaze on the D-roll. Pulling up, smoking haze through the back door. We get that fresh glaze on the D-roll. Pulling up, smoking haze through the back door. We get that fresh glaze on the D-roll. Pulling up, smoking haze through the back door. We get that fresh glaze on the D-roll. Pulling up, smoking haze for days. We get that fresh glaze on the D-roll. Pulling up, smoking haze through the back door. We get that fresh glaze on the D-roll. Pulling up, smoking haze for days. We get that fresh glaze on the D-roll. Pulling up, smoking haze through the back door. We get that fresh glaze on the D-roll. Pulling up, smoking haze through the back door.
Won't you take me home? Give me wings to fly. We can run away. Castle in the sky. Won't you take me